Amazing. Thank you.
No problem.
What are you putting it? The energy thing? No, in your one.
I put a Barocca.
No, I it's funny because I meant it like that, but of course you guys have so much history with spiking each other that you took it a different way.
Relax, bro. I don't know you that well. I wasn't gonna.
No, I meant your one.
Where you been and where you going? This is Ari's travel show, yeah. We're gonna talk about travel today. It's You Be Trippin, yeah.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to You Be Trippin. It is a travel podcast. My name is Ari Shaffir. As of the recording of this, I've been to, 36-ish countries. Not that many compared to some of my guests. Every week we talk to a different person about a different place in the world. And today's no different. It's the only podcast that has been featured in the Bodies exhibit with Chinese dissidents that have been arrested and cut in half. Today on the podcast, my friend Des Bishop, one of the fucking guys I met not in America.
That's correct. Our relationship begins where our story begins.
Okay, nice. Nice. China. What do they call it? They call Africa the something.
I don't know what they call China.
It's like a frontier for people who have never been. Like the early explorers were like, whoa.
Oh yeah. Well, it was the Silk Road, but I don't know. The history of China is not my strong.
Yeah. Well,
certainly not the ancient history of China.
This podcast has nothing to do with facts.
But we did meet. In fact, the first time we ever recorded together also was in a park in Beijing.
Yeah.
But you came to do my little comedy club that I had while I was living in China, which we can get into. But
You're the godfather of Chinese comedy.
Wrong? No, I mean, some people actually. There are some people that are giving me way too much credit when they talk about the history of Chinese stand-up.
Yeah.
But I just happened to be there at a time where it was kind of beginning.
Yeah.
You dipped your toes in it, so you saw that there was like this little nascent comedy scene. I just happened to be there doing my project, which was to learn Mandarin, to do stand-up in Mandarin. And that also just happened to be the time where Mandarin stand-up was beginning. But that was a fluke.
Well, it's a wild story because you're American, but you grew up seeded from fucking terrible childhood. You grew up in Ireland or part of your time.
14, I went to Ireland. Well, I got flunked out of school drinking, teenage angst.
Yeah.
But my mother had severe anxiety, and it manifested itself in me ending up in Ireland.
Yeah.
So, I went to boarding school and I went to college, and then my comedy career began in Ireland.
Yeah.
Right. So, I've always been like a abroad kind of guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're an Irish comic, American who's doing
Irish comic with a New York accent.
Yeah, right.
Not as much.
Cool.
I've been back here quite a bit these days, but
yeah. But what was cool to me was that you're this pretty successful, Irish comic, and then you took on this task of like, I'm gonna go to China, learn a crazy language.
Yes.
I mean, it's nothing like any other language.
Yes.
And then do stand-up in it, which is anyone I've seen do stand-up in another, like French or whatever. First of all, you can read what you're writing or you can write it out. These are symbols. But also they just end up just translating
their own jokes.
Their jokes. And some of it doesn't always work. Like the vibe of humor in other places, even black culture to white culture in America is a different style of humor. But you were doing bits about the Chinese alphabet. I mean, you were deeply in there, like written for this.
Yeah, actually,
place.
One of the first jokes that I ever did, which is, I think, the joke that you're referring to about the differences in characters between the simplified Chinese and the traditional Chinese, actually was given to me by a teacher. I think it was actually like a joke.
Really?
But I tagged it. So like, okay, I'm going to give myself some grace because I was doing comedy in Mandarin, and this was like, I was like only 8 months of learning Mandarin. I was doing this joke, but I tagged it with
all this stuff,
with new stuff. But the original joke was like, the joke is irrelevant.
Yeah.
But I did add my own tags. I did make it my own. But I have to tell you that it came from my teacher, and it was a joke.
Oh, wow.
But that was early on, though.
But you didn't go to Shanghai or Beijing, which anybody.
No, I went to Beijing
right away.
Yeah, so because I know you're talking about the small city I was in, but that was a 1 month part of my initial 1 year journey.
Interesting.
But I was based in Beijing. Okay. I didn't go to Shanghai because Shanghai's not good for learning Mandarin because that's a lot of English there, like a lot more. It's a lot more of an international city. Beijing is a very Chinese city.
Yeah.
Shanghai is a very international city, especially then.
Wow. Yeah, that's where the banking is.
Yeah, and like
in Hong
it's
Kong.
more it feels more like New York. You were there, right? Like there's parts of it, the kind of the Art Deco parts of it, where you're like, wow, this is like not a million miles from New York. So anyway,
And Beijing really seems ancient in a different way.
yeah, and it's much more Chinese, and the foreigners that were there were all like diplomats and like journalists, and they weren't as many, and a lot of them were also motivated to learn Mandarin. So you kind of in Shanghai, you end up with the white people that are like, they don't want anything to do with Chinese culture. They're just loving being in China and making money. And then in Beijing, you get all the people like me that are like obsessed with learning about the language and learning Chinese culture. So Beijing was a good base, but the small town you're talking about that I went to working in the restaurant was like, because we were making a television series, one of the
You were making
channels.
television about learning and doing it?
Yeah, I know we're like bouncing all over the place.
No, it's okay. We can
Just
do
in
that.
case people are wondering what was my motivation. So, you know, I was doing pretty well in Ireland as a comedian, and I had previously made a series about learning the Irish language, to do stand-up in the Irish language.
Yeah.
So it didn't come out of nowhere to go and learn Mandarin. After I finished that, I had a separate personal obsession with learning Mandarin, and I had some very close Chinese friends that had been living in Ireland. They were like Chinese immigrants. They were immigrants in Ireland from China. There was like this wave of immigration from the northeast of China to Ireland because it was easy to get a visa. And these people who I was very close to brought me to China originally in 2004. And from that trip and my own obsession with Kung Fu movies and just all this.
Yeah.
And by the way, I'm from Flushing, Queens. Just to like, I had all these like Chinese triggers, right? Because my neighbor became completely Chinese in my lifetime.
Whoa.
You know, every neighbor I had became Chinese from the late 1970s to today. My entire neighborhood became Chinese, from none to everybody. So I had that. I had my Kung Fu obsession, my friends in China. And then once I visited, then it's just like I visited in 2004. I'm sure you had the same experience when you went there. It's like, this is not the West.
It's so it's the word, not inhabits the word foreign like no other place.
Yeah, you feel, wow, like not in Kansas anymore, Toto, that's the cliche, but like I've been to a lot of places, even like Thailand, I've been there and it's fun and you definitely feel like you're in Southeast Asia, but you feel like there's aspects of this that make sense, whereas China, you just get there and you're like, this is nothing, there's nothing the same.
Nothing.
Yeah, nothing the same. Everything feels different.
It's-
I'll tell you what else is really big, and I really felt this in 2004, was sometimes you really are stuck. You can't read the characters. You're in a smaller city, and like if you can't find somebody in that train station that speaks Mandarin and can explain what the ticket means and what gate you need to go to, you are fucked.
I got one of those once.
You did?
I was in watching World Cup is Wuxi right over the border from Hong Kong?
No. Shenzhen.
Shenzhen. Okay,
Yes.
so we were there. So back to no English and not Cantonese, Mandarin. I
Yeah.
didn't know any Cantonese anyway. You really don't have to learn it from Hong Kong.
No, Cantonese is not important.
Yeah. But so I'm back there. Had a fun time at the World Cup. It's like 4 a.m. They weren't even in it, but it was like everybody was watching. Every bar
Yeah.
filled up. Talked to some American chick. A heavy makeout session. Like really, like, you know. And then she had to leave. I tried to take a cab back, and I'm like the Sheraton, and I may as well have just going ba 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 ba.
Yeah, nothing.
Torrential rain. Find a cab. He's like, no. I'm like, all right, I gotta get out. More torrential rain. Just
Got to
pouring
write
in.
it down.
You gotta take the hotel.
You got to take the card.
You know-
That's like a classic. I had one of my early jokes living in China.
Yeah.
Was like, I'm here to learn Chinese. I'm here to learn Mandarin. I'm not showing the fucking card. That was my thing. I'm not showing the card. So the joke I'd always say was Su Zhou Jie, but the fucking character, the tones are so difficult. I'd be like Su Zhou Jie, and the taxi driver would be like, fucking, like what? And I'm
Yeah.
like, Su Zhou Jie. And I'm like, what? Su Zhou Jie. And finally, like, fuck it. All right, fine. I give up. Show the card, and he goes, oh, Su Zhou Jie. I'm like, what the fuck was I saying? What was I fucking saying,
I
man?
saw a Shanghai comic talking about it. He goes, I'm here on a 7-year tourist visa.
Oh,
they
yeah.
don't check. But he goes, it's amazing how little people want to help you. Where he goes, if I went to New York and I said, where's the Empire State Building? It like they would tell me where the Empire State Building. Here, there's like, I don't know what you're talking about. There's no
But they
such
really
thing.
don't know. Like
Yeah.
the thing is, the perception is that they don't want to help you, but they really don't fucking know. Like it really, because after a while, I started to understand it. But early on, you don't, because you're like, that's what I said. But
That's
when you,
what I fucking said.
But when you get a better ear for the tones, and by the way, I am no master of the Chinese language. But when you get a better ear for the tones, you then hear how bad you used to sound.
Oh, wow.
'Cause to be honest, when I watch back this television series that I made, and I hear my Chinese from those early days where I really thought that I was doing great, I'm like, holy shit, I was terrible.
Yeah, yeah.
But of course, they were all telling me I was doing great.
Okay, so you get there. You get to Beijing. How old are you then?
So for the TV show or the original? Yeah, for the TV show, we'll keep it for that time when I go there to learn Mandarin.
Okay, because you've already been.
I went to visit in 2004.
Okay.
That was just like a holiday. But I visited Leo.
When did you fall in love with it?
I was fascinated by the differences. Now, don't get me wrong. I was visiting my Chinese friends that had lived in Ireland and were back in China, and I was visiting them. So I was staying in like a suburb of Dalian in Liaoning province, like not a place where the foreigner, the Laowai as we call ourselves, not a place where they go. So I was like deep in Chinese culture.
Wow.
And I was like obsessed. That's where the obsession to learn the language came from.
Name some of the differences that you can remember. Not all of them, but like.
God, I mean, just everything looked different, especially in 2004. Everything looked different. 50% of it looked underdeveloped, but like heavily in use, which fascinated me. So,
Like
you know,
bustling.
bustling, but also like you'd be like in the middle of town and then you'd be like, we're going to this restaurant, and then like in what seems like a big city, and next thing we're on a fucking dirt road, but this is like still part of the city.
Wow.
And like, you know, so everything was active. I mean, it's even hard for me to remember now because I'm so used to China.
It's tough to remember always those first, even like mushrooms. It's like I can't. It's hard to recall the first time.
But also just the amount of people, the fucking hospitality was like insane. Like they're
Good?
Oh, as in like the people that I was with were so obsessed with us feeling welcome and like overfeeding us.
Wow.
And just restaurant culture, to be honest, like that, because I was with them, they're Chinese, just like going to these restaurants and just getting spoiled with food. It was insane. You know, communal eating. I got
What's communal eating? What do you mean?
You know, like the lazy Susans and
That's the thing there.
Yeah, and also like the way the Chinese eat is that they overorder because it's very bad to end up with like running out of food. That's like you're a bad host.
That's so the opposite of Jewish children of Holocaust survivors, where like anything's left on your plate, you're really attacking who we are.
Yeah, so in China, if your plate is empty, they feel like they failed.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Let's see. Wow.
So I was getting like pummeled with food.
opposite.
I got terrible food poisoning actually on my first trip. But anyway, it was just and the chaos, you know, like the driving. I mean, I know plenty of people I'm sure on this podcast have talked about the driving, but you know, I have a routine about it, but just like the way they drive like a flock of birds rather than like according to the lanes. They just kind of like flow with each other. There was just like a chaos to it that I kind of like loved because it was like a functioning chaos.
But right, it's got to be functioning. Like they know how to do it.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah.
Like it totally works.
Sometimes I think about like if you come to something with like fresh eyes, you don't even understand. Like I heard some people shitting on the Comedy Store, and they're like, "Well, you don't allow. How come Whitney only has 3 spots this month?" And it's like, it's because she only called in for 3 spots.
Oh yeah, people don't understand.
Yeah, it's like you don't understand the system you're commenting on.
Yes.
And so it's like if you saw an American line, like how do they know who's first? Like, well, we queue up. We just do that on our own. You see 4 people, I'll be the 5th, and then it's just how. And you're like, oh, how does it? It's that. It's an organized chaos, but you just don't get it.
You don't get it at the beginning, man.
Yeah.
But I was just fascinated by all that, and like that's just like me trying to like go back to those initial impressions.
Yeah. Hi everybody. I'm gonna break in really quick. All right, bro, chill. I'm gonna break in quick to tell you a little bit about the guest, Des Bishop. He's got a new special right now called Mindfill. Des, I met him we covered it a little bit in Beijing, and we saw kids fucking shitting in public in Beijing. I went hard on India and Pakistan, but you know, China's up there making a name for themselves. He's got a new special right now on YouTube called Mindfill. Des is a great comic, and you guys will absolutely love it. Anytime a high-level comedian puts out a special, it's gonna be great, whether or not it's Jesus. So check out Mindfill right now. He's also appearing. He's got a Des Bishop podcast that you should check out. And he's also, let's see his dates, live. Well, I don't see any. Guys, put a scroll in here about all his dates. For myself, I got nothing to promote. I hope you guys had a good Shroomfest. There's still limited edition Shroomfest shirts to be had. There's probably like 40 left of them. the ones we made for extra for the people who celebrated Shroomfest last minute. Go ahead and get yourself one. Show with pride that you celebrated Shroomfest. I've also got these Ari Shaffir Stay Positive shirts. A main message from my special America sweetheart. I hope you guys took that to heart and stopped watching the news and just learn how to stay positive in general. Click subscribe wherever you're watching or listening, and subscribe to the Instagram account at You Be Trippin Pod, or my own Instagram at Ari Shaffir, where I put up clips of stand-up, one clip from this show. Also on the You Be Trippin Pod, sometimes when the guests have lots of pictures, we'll just like put those all out. So it's kind of a cool follow. We don't bug you too much. It's just extra good content. That's it, everybody. Yeah, get yourself a shirt. Got You Be Trippin shirts. Got Ari Shaffir Jew vinyls. Limited edition risographs. Ari Shaffir cat shirt. Grinders. The old cat shirt with just the sticker. You Be Trippin stickers, which I'd like for you guys to put up, one, the clear one, in your passport, like I did. It looks like a passport stamp, and then it's also how to say hello in lots of different languages. And then that T-shirt, rock it with pride, wherever you're staying in a hostel or wherever you're in your travels. If you're going on a travel, definitely bring your You Be Trippin shirt. That'd be crazy not to. All right, guys, let's get back to the episode with Des Bishop.
I went back again in 2009 to research the project, which didn't happen, but it finally happened in 2013. So
wow.
When I went in 2013, I was going to make a television show for Irish TV. 1 year to learn enough Mandarin to do stand-up in Mandarin. After 1 year, living with a family. I lived with a family for that entire year. A Beijing family that allowed us to film in their house, but I lived with them.
So you're getting the real version.
Full immersion. And I did not watch any English language television except my one indulgence was the final season of Breaking Bad. Because it was actually like...
Yeah, how are you going to miss that?
No, it's some Chinese, like iQIYI or one of these like Chinese streaming sites had the official rights to it. I wasn't like... I didn't even have to watch it illegally.
Oh, wow.
The day it came on whatever, FX or AMC, whatever, it came on Sunday night and then on Monday morning or whatever the time difference was, I was watching it on my fucking phone in China in English. That was my only indulgence.
Damn.
Everything else was like Dora the Explorer in Mandarin, fucking SpongeBob in Mandarin, early days, just like immersion like a kid. I basically go, how does kids absorb language? They don't learn,
TV.
they just absorb.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm going to absorb language.
Were
like
you
a kid.
lost when you got there? I mean, it's not like you can get by right away.
Yeah, I mean, early on, I was, but don't get me wrong, I had a handler and, I had my friend,
Okay.
I had people to help me, but there were a lot of times, like I loved going to these like shitty noodle shops, and there were a lot of times where I would just point and fucking hope that it was a good choice.
Dude, I remember it wasn't Turner, it was, I don't think it was, Curtain was Hong Kong, right? Who helped Turner in Shanghai?
Curtin, Andy
Curtain. No,
Curtin.
wait.
Andy Curtin.
He was Shanghai?
Him and Turner were together.
So he gave me a cell phone to use. Actually, this might be the Hong Kong guy gave me a cell phone to use. I don't know. But I went out. It had to be Andy. And I was like, how do you say beef? I'm just going to go. They told me it was safe. So I'm like, cool. I'm good then. No xenophobia. I'm out. Just how do you say beef so I can like know how to order? And I finally worked up the courage to go to one of those noodle shops or whatever. I was like, is it Ryu?
Nero.
Okay, yeah. I knew something from like
Nero.
Matrix. Nero. And I was like, Nero. And the guy just looks at me like, and I was like, said it again. And then he just points over his head to a menu and it's like, well, here's the 30 Neros. You can't just say beef, bro. Like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, shit. So you point and hope.
And I pointed and hoped early on. And like, this sounds dirty, but actually it wasn't a dirty massage place, but I used to go for massages like all the time, right around the corner from my apartment. And I promise you, they were like whatever, $5. Mm-hmm. And like, I promise you, it's not a hand job massage. Like, I know people are automatically going to go like happy ending massage, but I went to the same girl every time because obviously, within a month, I have the like 我是美国人, I am American, 我是Ireland, I'm Irish, right? I had the basics like at that time I was 37, so I was like 我37岁, I'm 37, right? So you go into a massage place, you have your 5 or 6 questions, but if you go to the same girl, you don't have them the next time. And so we would just like through the massage, we would struggle to fucking communicate, but every time you go back, you're just like trying to learn more.
Would you put yourself in hard language positions to force you to learn?
Well, I put myself in situations where like you have to try, because at the end of the day, like the mind, the mind is what's the word, like when it's practical. It wants to solve the problem.
It needs this.
Yeah. So it will find a solution, and so
Even I love when you're trying to learn a language, get by language, and you don't know the right word, but you can get enough other words to get you to that place.
yes, but the thing is that's the key, man. Like the key, because what you don't realize is that like you're just communicating.
Yeah.
Good language is obviously more satisfying, but you can still communicate.
Yeah, if you go, where is the area to urinate? They know what you mean.
They can figure it out.
Yeah.
So anyway, I did any number of ridiculous things to try to get my language better. Some for television and some just for myself.
Yeah.
But don't forget, I was heavily motivated, right? I knew that my progress was going to be on television. So
Wow, so you can't just get by. Because what it was cool about Beijing, I met a chick. She was in the comedy scene. I fucking forget her name. She's from New York, rich chick from New York, and she's now a translator.
The blonde girl. I forgot her name too, but
Damn,
that's
we
her.
hung out a few times.
Yeah,
And she was so good. And then
she was good. Like,
there were-
and she was kind of famous because she was so blonde. I think we're talking about the same girl, but maybe I'm wrong.
and there was another one who was like there for 12 years and couldn't speak any Mandarin.
But that's what happens. You can get into that expat life.
Yeah.
It's such a waste to
And
me.
it's what a way. You'd be like,
But
in a year you should get by.
And I became the guy I hated. Did you go to college?
Yeah.
Yeah. So in Ireland,
Go
when I was
Terps.
in,
Yeah.
what?
Go Terps.
When I was in Ireland in college, I hated the mature students, like the people that went back to college, like in their 30s and 40s, because they're so fucking motivated and
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah.
undistracted.
They're gonna win.
And and they're always like raising their
They're
hand.
not invited to parties.
And I became that guy. I was in my fucking mid to late 30s, sitting in these. So I was in Renmin University, like I was in a major Beijing university, but just for language learning, though. So
Right.
I wasn't like a full student. I hadn't gone back to college, but a lot of the kids, the white kids in my class, were kids that were doing like a semester abroad. So they're like 21-year-olds there to like, they're learning Mandarin, but like not like motivated like me at all. And they would all hang out with each other. They'd speak fucking English all day. And yes,
They
their
weren't
Chinese
learning.
got better,
Yeah.
but not like mine. And I became
that.
the fucking asshole I hated. Because I would say to them like, why are you going to waste your 6 months here? You're wasting your fucking time. Like I can't believe I came to this guy. Because I was the most unmotivated student.
Yeah.
And I hated the fucking mature students. And I absolutely...
I knew a chick who did a year abroad in Spain somewhere, and the advice she got from her cousin was, "Don't live with the Americans.
Amen.
Live with the Spaniards." And
Yes.
then she lap them in Spanish.
My friend's kid, actually, he's 16. He's going to he's doing a high school half of a year
Yeah.
in Spain, and I've been fucking drilling him. But of course, he's 16. He's not going to do it.
He's not going to do it.
I
He's
just-
just soaking some.
you just hope. But anyway, so that was the entry point in
Yeah.
to right. But the lucky thing was that I happened upon, because this was not part of our pitch. I happened upon essentially the beginnings of what they call like Western stand-up, toko show. So when I first went there, like comedy is siju. I actually forget the tones, but comedy is like siju. But when you say that, people think of like a comedy play.
Yeah.
So they had alliterated talk show, because the initial sort of version of Western stand-up that they saw was like Carson, Letterman, Fallon. So they thought that comedy in America was talk show. So they alliterated toko show. So
wow.
that's why. So stand-up in Mandarin is toko show, which is an alliteration from talk show. But what it actually means is what we do for a living.
Okay.
Toko show. If you said like siju or like live, like shangchang siju, like they wouldn't know what you're talking about. But toko show is like, if you put in toko show, TUO, because we're looking at the screen.
TUO. It's
KOU S X X. Oh, it's there already.
Yeah.
So that's stand up.
Wow.
Toko show. Yeah. And it's very like a lot of their style is like, they have a lot of like reality shows around stand up, but it's gotten huge since I was there.
So it's like this though, where they just play off each other.
Well, some of it comes from the traditional side, but I think this is like a reality show where these guys are just like on stage, like this.
Oh yeah.
Like I have no idea what this show is.
I wonder if this is COVID or not.
It's probably like a
They're all
friend of
wearing
mine after
masks.
getting on stage.
Videos.
Anyway, And it's actually quite funny because I remember making it on
It's funny?
If you watch my show,
Yeah.
I make fun of how silly it is that they have all these like images coming up on their like toko show and sound effects.
Sound effects.
Yeah, but actually, we copied them. I know this guy. This guy's
that
on my
Wong?
fucking TV show. That's not Joe Wong, right?
Why is
Anyway,
this fucking
Guangxi
lagging?
Joe Wong really helped me out.
But this is more modern.
Yeah, this is
lagging.
Toko Show. I've met this kid. So,
So-
but he's just doing stand up like you and I do.
regular.
But it's just funny because I used to make fun of them for their content because they would subtitle, they would put in images, and I was like, how fucking stupid is this? But we ended up doing that.
We end up doing it.
We ended up doing it. And at the time, I thought it was ridiculous. But now guys are editing my videos, and when I talk about fucking Mountain Dew, they're putting up a fucking Mountain Dew on the
Yeah,
screen.
you got a little picture to add to it.
Yeah.
It's crazy. That's happening.
They
in
were
music.
ahead of
Yeah.
us on that, even though they still are way tackier and they do a lot of sound effects.
It's happening in the music world too, where it's like it's not enough to like early rap. You're just the rapper. Someone else is the DJ playing the music, and now it's like they're doing it all themselves. And now
Yes.
on top of that, they're doing these crazy video pieces behind them.
Yeah.
because they're doing these videos themselves.
Yeah, 'cause
adding
they're-
to the stage. It's like
Multimedia used to be like a subject. Now it's just like a given.
yeah,
You know?
do all the parts.
Do it all, man.
Yeah.
I mean, even podcasts have to be video.
Yeah.
But anyway, without getting too distracted,
Yeah,
this has become quite popular, but heavily censored, right? But Toko Show is
Heavily
now
censored.
like I've gotten in Ubers here in New York, right? If I got a fucking Chinese guy, I'm over the moon.
you're going for it.
I am over the moon.
I love it.
But I now talk to fucking Uber drivers here about fucking Chinese Toko Show, like Chinese stand-ups. And they're like, oh, I love that guy. And you
They know it now.
They know
So
it,
it's
man.
not that Laurel and Hardy.
No, that's
back and forth anymore.
Xiang. So when I went there, that's what I knew when I went there, and I met some of them, and that's what I was going to talk to them. But what happened was, actually, in fairness, it was Turner and Andy
Yeah.
Curtin and Turner. Turner lives here now. They were the ones that initially introduced me to like expat stand-up, but they said to me that there's like these small kind of like Mandarin open mics. And they were the one that put me wide to Beijing Talk Show Julabu, which was Beijing Talk Show Club, which is Beijing Stand-Up Club, right? And that was literally like the only way to describe it was like a comedy co-op, like almost like a fucking Cultural Revolution commune of comedians that were one group, and they were in this together doing shows. And they were they were literally one of about 5 or 6 pockets around China of people that said, we're going to do
Shanghai scene, Beijing scene.
Shenzhen.
Shenzhen.
In terms of the Mandarin, though, I'm saying, like
right,
these
right,
little
right.
pockets,
Because we had a few of the guys like
bilingual guys.
Bilingual,
Like
they're like, I'll-
Storm Shu.
I'll do the not American, but the English speaking. But then
Yeah.
I'll also same bits I can do over there. I can do double the spots that these fucking whites can do.
Yeah, Storm Shu was one that were bilingual. There was numerous bilingual guys. But anyway, that was really the beginning of Chinese stand-up.
Garen.
But I happened to be there
Wow.
filming it.
While
so
it
that was
was-
just luck.
Hey guys, today's episode of You Be Trippin is brought to you by Superpower. We've all been there. You get blood work done, you wait a week, and the doctor says everything looks fine. Or maybe they tell you to drink more water or get some exercise. They always say it looks fine, but there's no breakdown. There's no like what specifically. Or they go like, how much of this are you doing? How much sleep you get? I'm like, try a little better. I'm like, what is it a little better? It's kind of like when you're drinking with your friend. Let's say you're drinking with Joe DeRosa, and he goes, let's do shots. And you're like, no, I don't want to do shots. What he really wants you to do is turn it up. He wants you to turn it up. And he needs to break it down better. He does shots. By the way, whenever he does shots, he immediately is gone to KFC like 20 minutes later, and they're throwing up in the street. So you need a breakdown of the drinking. Same way Superpower does a breakdown of exercise. What Joe should say is, can you turn it up 10%, whatever that means to you? Maybe that means finish that beer, get another one. Maybe it doesn't matter. Superpower breaks it down in that way. Do you get the metaphor? Maybe they tell you your hormones need work, or they give you insights into inflammation or toxins or nutrient deficiencies. Superpower is a completely different experience. It's a new kind of preventative care, more comprehensive, more personalized, and you can do it all from home. Here's how it works. 1 blood draw, 60 labs, and a complete look into what's going on inside your body. They test over 100 biomarkers covering everything from heart, liver, thyroid function and hormones, metabolism, vitamins and minerals, so it can be scans for thousands of different diseases, helps you close in on that brain fog or low energy that may be experiencing. Anyway, I think it's just valuable in general to know what's happening inside your body. You also get a personalized action plan based on your results. My mom's doing this too. She loved it. Plus access to your own dedicated medical team to help you guide you through what to do next. Same level of insight pro athletes get. Superpower used to cost $499. Now it's just $199 for the full experience. Fraction of what others charge. $500, $1,000, sometimes more for less thorough testing. You track your steps, your screen time, your sleep. What about tracking your own biology? So if you're ready to stop guessing and start taking control of your health, this is the way to do it. Head to superpower.com to learn more and lock in the special $199 price while it lasts. After you sign up, they're going to ask you how you heard about them. Please make sure to mention this podcast to support the show. Your biology decoded. Your blueprint activated with Superpower. Now let's get back to the episode. And did they look at you as like, guide us here?
Well, so obviously the first time I went, I guess I was like five and a half months. No, I was actually 6 months learning Mandarin.
Wow.
And I had gotten to know some of the guys from the English, the dual guys, like you're just talking about, Tony Cho being my number one guy. And he was like, you should come. They were having an open mic, but really they were having like a workshop. That would be the best way to describe this gig that I went to. This was my first ever experience with like Chinese stand-up, which would be like the equivalent of a bar in deep Bushwick with fucking kids that are just like having a clue what's going on, and everybody in the audience is a comedian.
Yeah,
and that was the
Beijing scene.
But
it was like they're all coming, but like they're gonna start it. And anyone here who's just to watch, it's like, hey, open mics are on Thursdays. Come on out. And I'm like, maybe I'll try it.
So I go to this fucking thing. There's like 15 people there, and almost everybody's getting up, right? And I can get by on a bit of Mandarin, you know?
Yeah.
I toilet, you know, kind of shit. And at the end they go, oh, Bi Lao Shi. They immediately called me fucking. So Bi was my Chinese last name, right? Because I took the B-I off of Bishop. So I took the last name B, right? But the B comes first in the Chinese name, right? Immediately they call me Bi Lao Shi, which means B teacher, like teacher B. Because it's like a term of respect because I'm like a veteran comedian, because they're very into titles there.
They're respect-based, right?
Big. That's the Confucian system is hierarchical, and they're very big into shaoshun. They're very big into respecting like order in terms of like.
That's what they told me, that they were safe. They were like I told you, it really set me free to like go just be out by myself. But they were like, the punishments for violent crime are crazy.
Yes.
No one's gonna risk it, and also the level of embarrassment for your family is crazy, and no one wants to do that to their dad.
Nobody wants to lose face. Yeah. And a lot of that stuff is really interesting, because that's what they all struggle with when they do stand up.
Oh, because you got to self-deprecate.
Yeah, and I mean, I got like my brain now is going like a mile a minute because I have 1,000 things to say. But anyway, let me finish this quick story.
Okay.
Right? So at the end of the show, they're like, Bi Lao Shi, do you want to get up and do fucking a few minutes?
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, fuck it. Like, because it's literally a workshop, right? So I get up and I got a couple of ideas. I got a funny idea about literally what I just told you. My last name is B, but if you mispronounce it, it means cunt.
Yeah.
Right? But that's true. Okay? So you say B first tone, it means cunt, right? So I got this built-in joke that I didn't even intend to. I didn't pick my name for that joke, but it ended up being a joke. And I got a couple of other like little observations, right? And they haven't a fucking clue what I'm saying, because my pronunciation is so bad. But at the end, they fucking like swarm me. They're like, we will help you learn Chinese. Like, they speak in Mandarin, but they're like, we will help you learn Chinese. But you need to help us to do what you did, because you are so energetic. You are so good on the stage.
Because your natural stage presence is just where it was.
I have experience. I've been doing it since I'm 21 years old. I was 37, right? So they were like, please teach us, please teach us.
Wow.
But they were like, but you don't actually, there was interaction in the show. So they were like, they literally were heckling me with, what are you trying to say? Like, they were actually like interrupting me, like, what are you trying to say? And then I would like, say it. And they'd be like, oh, you mean this? Right? So it was like a workshop.
Damn.
Right? So anyway, they just adopted me. And suddenly I immediately became part of the Beijing stand-up scene. And it was fucking awesome. And I actually started, so I got in trouble straight away with the Chinese system, because Beijing Tokushow Julabu is like a commune, right? You only do shows for Beitua, because they have this real like just Chinese system of like, you're not a stand-up comedian individual. You're part of we're a co-op. We're together.
Oh, they're really the Borg.
Yeah, but like they don't know it's any different, but that's the way it was. Like all the xiangsheng, they were all troops. So they're immediately like in the Beijing opera troupe. You know, like they're like a troupe, you know, straight away.
Yeah, that's
So-
probably elevated them to have you in their troupe.
Yeah, but here's the thing is, after every show, they would stand around in a circle and critique everybody's set. I called it the Poopin. I called it the circle of criticism, but they have actually a name for it.
Yeah.
But that would happen
I mean,
after,
that's helpful, but it's so hard on you.
yeah, and also like, you know the way comics get. This is not
fuck
going to be
off.
a subjective analysis of your performance.
Yeah.
But they also had a Lao Ban. So they had Si Yue, which is like this. He was a great guy. And like, in fairness, like he really is one of the godfathers of Chinese
Lao Ban?
comedy. Si Yue. Lao Ban means the boss, you know? So
That's not him.
no, Si Yue is this guy. And anyway, he really did put it together, but like you had to defer to him, right? So I made a very early mistake because in Renmin Dashui, I had become friendly with this Canadian Chinese guy who opened up a coffee shop in the university, but it was a Western style coffee shop and it was awesome. It was called Circles Cafe. So I said, hey man, how would you feel about, you won't find him.
Okay.
How would you feel about doing like Mandarin stand up in the coffee shop, right? So we're in the fucking university, right? It's a free show. Like, that I got that shit packed out straight away. So I'm like running shows. I'm 8.5 months learning Mandarin.
Is this the bookstore?
No,
Okay.
that comes later. That already happened with the English, but I started a Mandarin show there after.
Wow.
But my first Mandarin show was in Circles Cafe, and I started it. And Xi Jianyue was fucking pissed off because I told him it wasn't a Beituo show. It was just like a stand-up show because I wasn't trying to piss him off but I was just doing what we know, having no idea that this is like a humongous slight to him. So he showed up.
Why was it? Because you didn't ask permission?
I didn't book him either. So when he was there, and then they were like, when's Si Jianyue going up? I was like, no, I'll have him the next show. And they were like, no, you got to have the fucking Lao Ban.
Makes sense, though.
Yeah, they were like, no way. So I put him on, but like I was trying to do it like our way. I'll book a show.
Yeah.
So I got in big trouble then because they were like,
Wow. That's like East Coast, West Coast. You got to ask permission before
Yeah,
coming
and
to this place. You got to like
it-
honor the king.
and it was an issue. It never totally resolved
Can you
itself.
imagine if you like, I'm just starting a show in New York and Louis C.K. shows up. He's like, what the fuck's this? Why am I not on here?
Yes. I mean, of course, if he wants to go on, you're going to let him on.
Yeah,
but
you
it
let
wasn't
him on,
like
but you're
that.
like, why do you want to bother you? I don't know. It's a small show.
Yeah, and also I was trying to do it like I wasn't trying to do like a workshop vibe. I was like, these are the 5 comics. I was hosting.
Yeah.
And these are the 5 comics that I fucking book. You know? That show is on YouTube actually. That was 8.5 months of learning Chinese. I started that club, but then that gig got shut down by the university because they said you can't have an unauthorized performance on the university.
Wow. So wait, we got to talk about the freedoms of
Yeah.
speech in
Perfect timing.
comedy in there, because it's like,
So every show I
Yeah.
did except for opening up for Joe Wang. So if your listeners want to do a quick Google, Joe Wang is a Chinese comedian from China
Yeah.
that went to college in Texas. Actually got into comedy because he wanted to improve his English, coincidentally enough. So started going to watch comedy in English.
yeah.
But then had a very successful
did
American...
Letterman?
Yeah, numerous times. And killed on Letterman. That's the more important thing. If you watch his first Letterman set, it's fucking hilarious.
Really?
Oh, he's a killer
Okay.
in English. But he's really Chinese. I mean, he's not like
I heard when he
Balky.
got back to there, they're like, wow, you were on David Letterman in America. Like,
No,
you're
actually,
just
you
our
know what
king.
was the biggest thing for them? He roasted Joe Biden when he was vice president of the United States. And to the Chinese people, to have a Chinese guy roasting the second in command, they can't comprehend.
They were like, what a warrior.
That's beyond, right? Because they have like anti-Western sentiment anyway. So the fact that one of their own is ripping on the fucking the second in command, the vice chair,
Wow,
you know,
yeah.
of the United States. So the Letterman stuff, but the real thing that went viral was him roasting Joe Biden. So he decides to go home because he's fucking huge. He's become a huge viral star. So he was back in China while I was there. He was establishing himself in China. He actually ended up being a huge help.
Oh, sorry.
He was a huge help. Why did I bring him up in the first place?
Hold on. Oh, the freedoms of speech.
Oh yeah.
Can you say anything you want? Why did you bring him up?
Yeah, I can't even remember. But there was a reason why I brought him up. But anyway, so I can't remember the free. Oh, sorry. Now I know why I brought him. The only show that I ever did that was official, as in it was applied to the censor. So you have to shenpi. Shenpi means like apply for.
Apply to be able to
to do your show, which means you have to send
Any
your
art form?
any live performance.
So
That's
ballet.
Any live performance, you have to apply to the censor, right? Which is a group, like I can't remember which boo. Like boo is always like the department of is always the BU. Those letters, that character.
Would they come in and go, okay, this is you can't have this little piece, you can't have this and this.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
So in ballet too, they'll be like, take this part out.
I mean, I can't speak for the ballet. Let me just give you my personal experience.
okay.
So Joe,
Yeah,
who's
for sure.
was a great help to me. When I was doing stand-up for 10 and a half months, when I was learning Mandarin for 10 and a half months, Joe had 5 humongous performances in Shanghai. Sold out, like 1,200 seater, which you got to understand, this is huge. Like, stand-up's not a thing in China. And this guy's going to do 5 nights, like in a 1,200 seater in Shanghai for the Western New Year, for our New Year. And so he says, do you want to open for me? Which is humongous because now I can use this as like a big moment in the series. And this is like real, like proper fucking show and like suit. But anyway, I had to apply to the censor. So the very joke that we're talking about, the character joke, which is very basic but funny to Chinese people, it's a combination, it's a comparison between simplified Mandarin characters and traditional Mandarin characters, right? And it's it's basically a picture joke. But they said...
Yeah, you had a
yes,
a dry erase or
I
whatever.
couldn't do it because I was suggesting that the traditional characters were better than the simplified characters, and they still use the simplified characters in Taiwan. So they were worried that you would be suggesting that the Taiwanese way is better than the
Wow, they censored that to that level.
They censored that.
Not like the president sucks.
Nope. Now there was a joke at the end of that. So it's very hard. This joke is very visual, but it was actually for the character for love, right? Just for the comedy geeks out there, joke construction. The character for love used to have, in the traditional Mandarin, in the middle of it, right? Some characters are complex characters. They have characters within characters. So in the middle of the character was the character for heart,
Okay.
right? Xin. But in the simplified Chinese, they got rid of the heart just to make it easier to write. That's basically what simplified Chinese is. It's a practicality. So the joke is that the old way used to be better because it had the heart in it. That's what real love is. And then but the problem is that in modern China, the real character for love, and then instead of the heart, you put in a $sign because everyone's obsessed with money and do you have an apartment? So that's the Chinese joke, right?
Okay.
So then I started tagging, and one of them was the Chinese government character for love, and then I had the 4 circles for Audis because they love Audis. So I put...
It doesn't seem offensive.
Well, that would be bad. I knew that was getting censored. You can't make fun of the government.
But you're not making fun of it. It's just like they happen to love Audis.
Oh, God. I would never in a million years. I don't even think I sent them the fucking Audi one.
Wow.
I censored myself on the Audi
Wow.
one. But they didn't censor me on the Audi. They didn't censor me on the people are getting married for love. They censored me on, it seems to be suggesting that you're saying the Taiwanese way is better than the fucking Beijing way. So that's how sensitive it is.
It's crazy too because comedy
And by the way,
works.
that wasn't the government.
Yeah.
That was the production company. And as you know,
So they're like, I don't want to be
I'm not sending this to these motherfuckers.
right because then they're going to come after me.
Yeah.
Like,
And
yeah, it might be okay. It's not worth my fight.
Everything else got cleared, but then I did an improv on the night. I had a fucking...
How do you improv with the censorship? Because you have spies in the audience, right?
Well, I mean, it like everything in China, it's like everything's really official, and then it isn't. It's classic...
They said the story of that was that one of the Beijing, so much coke in the Beijing comedy scene.
Really?
So much in the hutongs, so much. But one of them, they said, got caught with cocaine. They said it's a white drug. It's not a problem. You didn't import, so whatever. So we're kicking you out, stamping your passport, never allowed to return. She went home, steamed that stamp out, immediately went back to China, and they're like, "Oh, welcome to China." There's not even a computer system. It's official, and then not, like you're saying, totally not official.
Yeah, so my mother came over that time, my dad had died, so I was like,
And she
"Mom,"
brought coke.
and she was coming for Christmas. She brought the coke. Yeah, she had coke up her ass and her cane. And so I took her to the marriage market. They have marriage markets in China.
Yeah.
So in the parks in China, a lot of the parks in the big cities, Chinese parents and grandparents go and literally advertise their kids like a live.
Oh wow! I would think
imagine-
you mean like stuff to have at a wedding.
No,
but that you mean the
imagine
actual main
your
ingredient.
mom the only person in control of your Tinder or your Hinge. Okay,
Wow,
so
that's smart.
they have like this live fucking Hinge where parents advertise their kids to other parents. And like literally have meetings. And I'd gone a couple of times. We filmed, but in this situation, I had my mom. So I was like, okay, so now I'm going back to the marriage park with my fucking mom. So now we mean business. My mother got swarmed, fucking swarmed, right? And it was so funny. Like, I had people calling me for months afterwards because I was just like in the moment. So I was like giving these dads my number. And they were like trying to fucking fob off their daughters on me. Like, I'm not even kidding.
Oh my God.
But anyway, I made a joke on stage, an improv joke about bringing my mother to the marriage. I can't even remember the joke, but it fucking killed. Like, I think it just killed that they were like, he knows about the marriage market.
Yeah.
You know the way like you could get away with shit when you're the fish out of water. So it was basically like the most basic observation, but it blew their fucking mind that I knew, because I'm sitting up there with my shitty Chinese, and then and so afterwards they were like, oh, when did you think of the marriage market? Because it wasn't in the thing, but it was funny. They didn't give me a hard time, but they were aware that it wasn't on the script.
Oh, wow. Because like you're opening us up to, like, is that like, don't do that in the future? This
They were
was
just,
fine.
they
but
were just
don't-
letting me know that they were, but they also said that you could keep that in for I did that every night. And then as a result,
I mean,
I joked about needing a woman, and a producer of a dating show saw me on that show and put me on a Chinese dating show, which became like our sort of like series stealing. So the whole journey was towards stand-up, but actually going on the Chinese dating show was like...
knocked you out of the park there.
Well, yeah, because you can't script that. I'm going back and forth with fucking hosts. But before we move on, right? Let me give an example of everything's official and then it isn't.
Okay.
So we had a guy. The organization for the foreigners was called CARFT. I don't know what it stands for, but it's CARFTE. They are the censor for the foreigners. Applying for Mandarin stand-up shows, different organization. But foreigners filming in China, CARFT, and you get a CARFT guy. You get a guy on you, right? But the CARFT guy, I'm there for a year. He trusted us. After like 6 weeks, he realized these people are not trying to like find suicides at Foxconn. You know what I mean?
Right.
These guys aren't.
They're just learning. All right. They're not.
Yeah, and they're fun, and it's like it's in good spirits.
Right.
The only thing he complained is like once or twice we filmed like really shitty toilets, and he was like, "Please don't film the toilet." And like one day we filmed a shitty toilet, and the next day the toilet was fucking immaculate.
That was one of my favorite things about it was when Turner took me to a bar across the river in Shanghai from the
Pudong.
business district. And we're up at this rooftop bar, and he goes, "Look at that! It's beautiful, just like New York, just the skyline." And I was like, "Yeah, what?" He goes, "So that wasn't here 2 years ago."
That's right.
And the government decided we want a business district. There was no vote. There was no having to go through thing. That's the great thing about that kind of totalitarian. Like, cool, do it.
Yeah, do it.
Start now.
Yeah. So we had this guy. His name was Chen, and he was cool. Every now and then he would give us a hard time, but largely we were gifted with a pretty cool guy. So this is how official and unofficial it is. So he told me what I was, and it's all the 3 T's, right? Tiananmen, Taiwan, Tibet, right? Don't talk about that.
Don't talk about them. Yeah. Wow.
Other stuff. I knew not to do jokes about the government, but he's coming to my fucking stand-up shows. He's coming to these gigs that I'm putting on, right? So one day I write a rap. I write a fucking hip-hop rap about the Chinese news, because the joke in China is, because it's all propaganda, right? And it's real propaganda. People here talk about free speech.
What they show you.
Yeah, so the joke is Chinese news every night. The government is busy. The everyday people are happy, and the West is a mess, right? So, and that is literally, and then the weather, right? That's like
The weather's real.
And that is, if you watch it, you will be surprised. It's always like, some
different version of the
committee
West is a mess.
meeting, right?
Then
Then
they'll show
factory workers in some third-tier city fucking applauding a local government official that's opened something, and then Iraq.
Car break-ins in Portland.
Yeah, yeah, that would be the current one. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. So, and then the weather. So anyway, I made a joke. I took this. The news music has a very distinct sting.
Yeah.
So I made a beat out of it.
Okay.
And you gotta understand, I know over here that seems pretty tacky, but this is pretty fucking novel to Chinese people to fucking mix the fucking was it Xinwen Lianbo is their evening news, to mix that into a beat, and I made a rappy joke about, this is what the news is every night, which is essentially a version of what we just said. And I have on camera in our series, he probably never watched it, my fucking censor busting his ass laughing at a joke that I should not be telling. And that's how unofficial and official it is. Because he really didn't give a fuck. But at the same time...
He's like, this is not allowed. I get why it's funny.
Yeah.
But it's not allowed. But
he didn't even tell me, though. He was just like, he didn't even care.
Wow.
But at the same time, like...
Okay.
Had he cared, it would have been an issue, but he just didn't,
My version of the freedoms was in Beijing, hanging out, walking around, 3:15 a.m., hot as shit. I think it might have been June. And went to a bodega. There's a guy in front with like no shirt on, just like hot.
Yeah.
It's like he can't sleep. It's too hot to sleep, so he's just there. We bought beers. And he's like, is this open? Like, it's open because he wants to be open.
Yeah.
Because he's,
And
whatever.
You're eating fucking shells. You're eating seeds.
And we get these Heinekens, I think, drinking them on the street. And it's like, are we allowed to drink on the street? They're like, as long as you don't skull somebody with the bottle, why would they care? And I'm like, oh, right. And I told my friend that. He goes, can you get on Google? I'm like, no, you cannot get on Google. So it's like pros and cons of this different kind of freedom.
And I have to tell you, man, I fell in love with the pros. And what you just mentioned there was one of the things I always miss the most is just that Chinese summer nighttime sitting outside. I don't drink, but like sitting with people who are drinking, having seeds, eating fucking lamb skewers.
Dude, the skewers. And you're like, I don't know what this is. Give me one of each of those. They're like 10 cents each.
Lamb skewers. I mean, you can get them on Grand Street. Just if you ever
but it was there, and it's just like he'll tell me what kind of meat it is. Eat, delicious, disgusting. Throw it away.
Tendon.
Something. I don't know what that was.
Delicious. Tendon.
I'm out 12 cents. Fuck tendon, and then back to the other ones.
Yeah, man. And those nights were the fucking best, man.
Isn't it wild? You're out in this completely foreign place, walking with a friend or not, and you just like see a group of like students in a park, and you're like, what are they doing?
Yeah.
The stuff that if it was here, you just would walk right by it.
Yeah, and the lack of organization of it is great too, because like here, the places that those areas are going to be, whereas like in China, it's just like it could be something else completely, and then just like 40 fucking people pumping outside. Because funny enough, we were there at the same time, that World Cup, that actual World Cup.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So I had a lot of great nights with that World Cup too. People fucking eating yang rou chua, eating lamb skewers, watching football. And like just fucking seeds everywhere, shitty plastic
everywhere.
seats. You know the way like
the plastic seats.
the shitty little
It's
plastic.
it's just for little kids.
Yeah,
It's either a bench or a little seat with a back. It's almost better to have the bench. They're for children. They're for kindergartners.
Pink plastic seats.
They stack up.
Yeah.
And like, here you go. Here's
Yeah,
our
and then you're
restaurant.
like, you got a table? It's like, here comes the table. Like literally, like fucking suddenly there's another 6 plastic seats and you're having the time of your life. You're having the absolute time of your life. You know what I mean? Like that's
You're having a time of your life, just having fun, drinking,
and it's
doing
real
whatever.
basic, man. It's real basic. I mean, the famous one is Ghost Street. If you're looking for like an image, if you're trying to put in Ghost Street, Beijing, and then, but that is like full belt, like China, Beijing nightlife, like Ghost Street, Guijie, like just like all those red lanterns are all restaurants, one after the other, and there's just thousands of people sitting outside every single one of those restaurants eating. And you know what's really cool? If people are into like what is it, ASMR?
Yeah.
If you just stand still, all you will hear is the chewing of seeds on that street. Because everyone that's waiting for their food, the first thing they do is they sit you down.
Here's one of them.
Tea.
It's not quite the right benches here.
They're kind of fancier.
Yeah,
they're fancier. But that street is fancy. To get the like, the pink seats is basically like anywhere.
Right.
Like I always wish the guy on Grand Street. So there's a guy that does lamb skewers on Grand Street, and there's one on Flushing Main Street too. I always wish he would just bring fucking 20 pink seats and just let people just fucking sit down.
Have them out
But here's
there.
the thing about China though, is like the skewers are on wooden sticks, and like everything's just thrown on the ground. It all gets cleaned up at the end of the night. So by the end of the night, the floor is just seeds and sticks, and it's just chaos. But that's what works for them.
Yeah. I can't find an image. But
yeah, so all the other shows that I did, all the other stand-up shows were all unofficial. And the only time, other than the Renmin University time, that we got shut down was we started a new show, but unfortunately it was right around the anniversary of the Tiananmen massacre, which of course they called the June 4th incident.
The June 4th incident.
Yeah, whatever I don't even know if I got the exact date right, but they don't to refer to the Tiananmen massacre as anything. That So anyway, you're not allowed to talk about it.
You're not.
But-
Yeah, I went through it. I was amazed. I was like, "Where's Tiananmen Square?" And they're like, "It's out there." I'm like, "What?" I walked through it again. I'm like, "Where is it?" And they're like, "Oh, there's no plaque. There's no nothing.
Nothing,
It just
man.
didn't happen."
It didn't happen, man. So around the time of the anniversary, because it was 89, right? So it was 2014. So it was the 25th anniversary. They were very paranoid, and we had a show that was like a touch too near. So that show got shut down by the censor. That show was like, "Where's your permit?"
Because they just didn't want you doing it.
It was a tight time that time. There was a lot of paranoia.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of paranoia. So anything like talk show. And by the way, talk show is a lot more popular now, so the censorship is way more intense. And
Finally, here it is. It's
there
these
they are.
seats.
That's what we're
It's
talking
these
about.
seats. And they're everywhere, and they just like stack them up. Like, go ahead, sit down,
yeah,
and you just eat.
and those are
on
even
your
those are
lap.
quite high. Some of them
Those are
are
high.
even shorter than that.
Those are high. You're right.
But that's the vibe everywhere.
And it's so fun because it's like, let go of whatever your fucking luxury ideas. This is where everyone's eating. It's fun. You just like,
Yeah, but it's not like very wealthy people are eating there too. That's the thing. It's
Right.
not even like this is a poor people place.
Right.
This is
this is how
fun.
you eat.
Like you white kids are going to nightclubs. Chinese people are sitting on shitty stools and fucking drinking beer and gambang and eating fucking yang rochoir, eating lamb skewers. Man.
Wow.
That's like one of the ways to have a good time
Damn.
in China in the summer.
God, that takes me back.
And all that is like awesome, like you can't beat that.
Yeah. So let's talk about the chicks there. How does an expat fuck in China? Because I saw these little mini cities like Shanghai, 20 million.
Yeah.
But in terms of the whites, it's a city of 50,000.
Yeah.
And they don't go outside their city.
Yeah, and by the time, so this whole thing of like, oh, you're going to get laid all the time, like the white worship was pretty faded. I'm sure you found that too, right? Like at the end of the day, China's pretty successful by then. So the sense of like the white man is going to come and save you is well gone.
At the Emperor's Palace, I saw it because you have the country folk coming to see the Emperor's Palace.
So they want to take pictures
and they'd be like,
and stuff.
what the fuck?
Yeah, yeah.
Why?
Oh,
Can I
100
touch you?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
You hold my baby and take a picture of that
Oh,
so I can,
yeah.
so I
And
can tell.
to a certain degree, that would still happen. But this sense of like, oh, meet a lao wai, meet a white guy, and like you'll be good for life,
Yeah.
had shifted mainly because like a lot of fucking Chinese people are making money. Chinese people are focused on Chinese people making money.
Right.
Right? So the idea of a white guy has actually kind of become complicated because by then the Baling Ho is the post-80s generation, which is the generation of the one-child policy, right?
Yeah.
So all
Oh,
those
right.
kids are called little emperors, little empresses, and they are their parents are like obsessed with their development because they're only one fucking kid, right? So suddenly
They're
there's-
assholes because no one will tell them to shut up. because
yeah,
they're like, "There's my
there's
only
that,
one."
right? They're like Gen Z. And so if you're looking for a comparison, no, I'm kidding. But anyway,
Yeah. If you got 10 kids, you're
entitled,
like, if one dies,
they
I'm
were
fine.
talking about that generation being entitled. All that stuff was going on, right? But the other thing was that kids.
What do you call it?
were
Little Prince syndrome?
little Xiao Huangzi. Xiao Huangzi is like little empress, little emperor.
Yeah.
So, a Chinese girl, like just say like a 30-year-old Chinese girl that already she's under pressure to get married, but she won't fucking meet a white guy because the parents are gonna be like, I don't want you fucking leaving. You're the only thing I have. So there was just a lot of like, a lot of like not as exciting as people thought for the white guy. In
Was
China.
there casual sex though?
Well, like, it took me a long time to even get into that because I got to be honest, man, I was so fucking focused that it was like down my list of priorities in the early days. Do you know what I mean? Like,
There's priorities, and then like I'm horny.
well,
Let me
don't get
try
me
to get
wrong.
some.
Yeah, but it was in the early days of my time in China, I did
Okay.
not experience anything like a simplicity of casual sex in China. You got to remember something else. I was 37 by the time I got to China, and like, just I'm in fucking Renmin University. Like, I wasn't.
You're not a club guy.
Yeah, and I also wasn't like just like going like it just wasn't. I don't know. Honestly, the Chinese girls, especially, like they just seem like I just wanted to like learn language from them. I wasn't thinking like let's get together. I
Yeah.
did eventually have a relationship with China, but in those early days when I was like just didn't know a lot of people, not a lot. There was elements of it, but I didn't quite.
Were there whores?
Well, there's of course there's whores. I mean, like there's that, and that's Asian culture. It's like sort of unsaid. But
They told me there were whores, but no pimps. Pimps were illegal, so that the mistreatment of the whores wasn't as bad.
Yeah,
as
all I know
here.
is that when I was in the northeast of China, in the small city when I was working in the restaurant,
Yeah.
Leo's buddies were obsessed with getting me whores, and I was like, guys, I don't need whores. But they really.
We got to get you one of these authentic whores.
Oh, they were like
What city was it?
obsessed with it. So it's Hegang, Hegang, and it's actually like a coal mining town that's really struggling.
H-E-G what?
Hegang. Heilongjiang. Yeah, it's right on the border of Russia.
Oh, wow.
Small Chinese city. In my joke, I say a tiny Chinese city of 1.3 million people, but it actually
It is 1.3 million
no,
people.
it's actually only 850,000. But
That's Nashville 7 years ago.
I it's hyperbole when I say 1.3 because it's a little funnier.
Yeah.
I could change the city, say Jamsil, which is like
it is weird that the Suzhou was like 10 million.
Suzhou,
they're like Sleepy Town.
second tier city.
Sleepy Town.
Yeah.
You know, we're not Shanghai.
Hegang is like a third tier city, and Hegang, because this is Dongbei, you know, the northeast of China, very industrial, big coal mining town, really struggling. This is like the fucking West Virginia.
Why is it struggling?
Because it's coal. You know, they have pollution problem. They really pulling back on coal.
Did they get away from it? Are they getting away from it?
So Hegang is really, really struggling as a town. Wow. It wasn't struggling as much when I was there, but it's really on hard times since I left.
Looks like any city.
It's been 11 years since I worked in that restaurant.
Oh, wow.
So it's changed a lot. But it's also in Dongbei, so its winters are absolutely brutal. It's kind of like Buffalo vibes, you know? Really brutal winters, nice summers, but the winters are brutal.
It looks snowy. I mean, it's that far up towards Russia.
It's literally on the border of Russia. I went to the border like on a day trip.
Wow.
So it's right there, you know? And that
way
was the
above
joke.
North
So
Korea.
when you're in Dongbei, if you're a white guy in the Northeast, they always say, are you Russian?
Okay. Oh, wow.
Yeah. So then my joke in Chinese, another basic. Don't judge me, my basic
Yeah,
Mandarin joke. But my
am I
joke
gonna
was,
judge you on Mandarin?
no, I said, no, of course I'm not Russian. Can't you see that I'm smiling?
That's
and they
funny.
thought that was fucking hilarious. They loved that.
It is funny when you go to one of these other foreign countries and they're like, where are you from? You're like, guess. And they're like, Ireland. And you're like, do I sound Irish? And like, no, Australia. I'm like, do I sound Australian? And to them, it's like, yeah, I don't know, man. It all sounds the same.
Yeah. The other joke, not on stage, but the joke I would say is, if a Chinese person said, "Oh, 你是哪里人? 你是哪里人? Like, where are you from?" I would always say, "한국人. I'm Korean." And then they'd be like, "Oh, you're not Korean." Yeah, but like, I know this stuff is so like.
It is fun to meet someone on humor, to meet up on another language.
Oh man,
humor.
but the thing is that the Chinese, man, they have a fucking great sense of humor, but it just doesn't translate into English.
Yeah.
Like their sense of humor doesn't translate into English. But once you get it, and like. Oh, explain their sense of humor. I can't fucking explain it. So don't even ask because it's like impossible. But when you figure it out, like on some sort of subconscious level, you get it. They're fucking funny, man.
Dude, when you hit somebody with a joke in their language, it's such a rewarding language
Oh,
moment. I was in this coffee plantation tour in Ecuador somewhere, and Vilcabamba was the name of the plantation, name of the coffee company.
Right.
And the guy was telling us, my dad started it. It's like, you know, and the person I was with was like, how'd you get the name Vilcabamba? And he was like, oh no, Vilcaroma was it. That it was in Vilcabamba. He's like, well, Vilcabamba is a city, and then aroma, so Vilcaroma. And she's like, oh, and I was like, and then in Spanish they were like, did you know that? I was like, sí, es obvio. And then the guy died laughing. It's obvious. Yeah. And the guy died laughing. And I'm like, yes, that's obvio. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, I remember I was doing stand-up in China long before I ever understood a joke of any of the other comics on stage.
Wow.
Like I could make audiences laugh and have not a fucking notion, especially the punchline. Like as my Chinese got better, man, I was like understanding everything, but I never got the punchline.
Wow.
Or you know what they call the punchline?
What?
笑点, which directly translates as laughing point. Very mathematical. Very mathematical. So I would never get the laughing point. And sometimes that's because you don't get the reference. They're talking about some fucking show from the 80s.
Yeah, that's how I'm in England. They'll joke will be like, it'll be like here, it'll be like some homeless guy will be like, kind of look like Biden. You know what that means.
Yes.
But there, you're like, kind of look like some guy you've never heard of.
Yeah.
And
Some
you're
guy
like,
from an 80s fucking show.
What is that? Yeah. Which part of him?
But I remember the first time, like I got a couple of fucking jokes of the comics. I was fucking dying. Like it was. I was almost like not laughing. I was like fucking, like cheering for myself.
Wow.
That I got it.
Yeah.
You know. But by the way, if you're ever in a Chinese restaurant, this always works,
Okay.
right? So they call us lawai, right? You've probably heard me do this joke, maybe on stage. I do this joke in English.
There is a derogatory
Yeah, but that's guaylo.
foreign word in every country.
Yeah, but
what is
guaylo,
lawai?
guaylo is negative. That's Cantonese. It means like white ghost, right?
Okay.
But lawai literally just means foreigner. I mean, it doesn't directly translate.
Farang and Thai.
It's farang.
Yeah.
Farang's not negative, right?
It can be.
Yeah.
But it's like Jew. It depends
But
how you use it.
lawai is definitely not negative.
Okay.
Like, or it's
Malay
certainly
in
yeah, it's evolved into like not a big deal. And
Yeah.
like if you watch Everything Everywhere All at Once, that film,
what a
they're
good
calling
movie.
us what?
What a good movie.
Crazy movie.
I mean,
But
I
they're
cried for a
they're-
week after
They're
that.
calling us lawai the whole time. So
Okay.
we are lawai, right? It doesn't mean white guy, but like in Everything Everywhere All at Once, they're really calling lawai white guys, right? But so when you're in a Chinese restaurant, they're calling you a lawai, right? So if you can remember this, if you ever hear them call you a lawai, say, "Hey, we're in America. You're the lawai." And they will fucking die. They will
Okay.
die. Now I
Good
can
note.
say
Good
I
note.
can say it in Mandarin, but like in English, it still works. If you catch them
And
calling
they
you
won't
a
be
lawai,
like, oh, wow. They won't be upset about it. They'll just be like, that's
well,
funny.
maybe if you say it in English, they might be. But you've never been at one to shy away from upset.
No, I'll go for it. I'll go for it. Well, a hard fought laugh is a good laugh.
Yeah, but I say they say what. 我们在美国，你是老外. I say, well, we're in America. You're the 老外. And they're like, oh my god, it's so funny. But I always, the other thing that really makes Chinese people laugh, especially over here, like in a restaurant, is if I'm ordering in Mandarin, and my wife will order like fucking chicken and broccoli, I'll always be like, fucking lao wai food in Chinese, fucking lao wai food, and they think that's hilarious that I'm calling her a lao wai, because obviously to them they're like, what? And I know these things are so basic, but like those are those little moments where you're like, yeah.
My brother does that to me when I visit him. He lives in Europe, and they speak French or Swiss wherever he lives. He's moved around, but he's like, hey, they're gonna ask you if you want a bag, and I'm like, okay, and then we get to the front of the line. And then they ask, and I forget. I'm like, what? And he just goes in Swiss or in French. He goes, "Stupid American," and they die laughing.
That joke is
'cause
universal,
he's
man.
Clearly American,
and you make the effort to learn the language. You get to make that joke. Me and Ronnie Chang's other joke is at the cellar we'll speak Mandarin, and then like just deliberately say somebody's name in the middle of the fucking sentence, having nothing to do with them, and then they're like, "What are you saying?"
Let's talk about the bathrooms and the shift in culture to get to that.
All right, well, let's talk about the fact that squatty toilets are the way that we're supposed to shit. Has this come up yet on your podcast?
No, it has not. It has not.
It's the way that humans are meant to poop.
Explain.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
You will use, not just because there is no toilet paper, so you have to bring, you have to bring your own toilet paper in China.
I did not know. I found out. I did not know. There's no warning for whites. That's like this is a major. Listen, in Australia, I drove the Great Ocean Road. It's just like PCH type road.
Been on it many times.
From Melbourne to Adelaide, it's great. It's amazing. You can pull over. Especially if you're going from Melbourne to Adelaide, you're already on the side to pull over to look at the
Beautiful spots.
Every entryway, and this is 3 hours away from the airport, is, hey, we drive on the left side of the road here.
Yes.
To remind you of something you might, as a non-Australian, come in conflict with your culture and way of life.
Yes.
No warning about the toilet paper.
Yeah. So, obviously, it took me a while to learn that too.
Yeah.
You gotta have your own fucking toilet paper, right? But after a while, you realize that even the shittiest squatty potty is clean because you're not fucking touching it, man. You're fucking squatting, you're dropping your shit, and then you have your toilet. And you will use like 10% of the toilet paper that you would use sitting on a normal toilet.
Why? Because it comes out so
It just
so
comes.
easy?
It's the way we're meant to shit, bro.
So
my hip mobility was so much
How
better.
do you clean your colon? First,
You got to squat, baby. It just opens up your ass.
It's also like
Well, also because we're not great, so we don't have the ankle mobility that they have. Like that's
do.
why these old Chinese dudes are like standing at the side of the road smoking cigarettes with their heels to the floor. I can't. Yeah, I can't get my heels to.
Chinese bikini.
Yeah, the Beijing air conditioning. yeah.
Yeah.
Right, smoking, and they're in that position for like an hour.
Yeah.
Right?
No knees. No like.
No need.
coming
No,
up. It just pop
they
right
got
up.
way. They got way better hip mobility. Great flexibility. But anyway, my hip mobility definitely improved from
that?
sitting. Yeah, especially when
You
the way,
gotta
like,
get back, or you'll shit into your pants.
yeah. I just
You gotta get your ass behind. You would want your ass
yeah,
right
but
over your.
yeah, but you widen your legs too.
You widen your leg, but you don't take the pants off.
No, you leave them around your knees or whatever. Bro, I really got into the squatty potty because here's the thing about China. They're big on public toilets. So everywhere you go is public toilets. And yes, they're disgusting, but they're always there. So like you'll never have like a New York situation where you're like, oh my God, where the fuck am I going to go?
Describe. And it's got 2 little foot pads.
So the ones in like the 3rd tier cities are just like 5 holes in the ground with foot pads, sometimes not even. Just
Separators?
no separators.
No separators. So you're
Yeah.
shitting next to someone and watching them, looking them in the eye?
Yeah, but that's the whole thing is like they're comfortable with it. Like my Chinese buddies were telling me like when they were kids, they'd be like, are we going to the bathroom? And like 5 of them would just go shit together and just like talk while they're shitting.
So they never learned that it's like Adam and Eve. They didn't know to cover up.
Yeah, they're just like
They just didn't know it was anything
those
different.
people. Obviously, societal norms have shifted quite a bit in China. Like even I'm sure since the last time I was there, I guarantee you like you wouldn't see half the amount of crappy toilets that there used to be, right? So they're advancing like everybody else. But like I got comfortable with it.
Yeah.
We made a joke about it in the series about like you the only place you get privacy in China is in your own head. Like you'll always be around people.
Those are the personal space. There's too many people. You can't have
It's just
personal space.
Yeah. So like shitting is not a private moment. So when I got food poisoning in 2004, even in the fucking hospital, and I had bad diarrhea, like bad, and they had me on a fucking drip. So I'm on a fucking IV in a Chinese hospital, and I got to fucking do my business in the hospital, but I had a fucking drip, right? But I had to go up the stairs because the downstairs toilet was just like so disgusting I couldn't use it. The upstairs toilet was better. So I couldn't carry up the thing. There was no elevator. So my buddy, Leo, my Chinese buddy, carried my fucking IV and held my IV up while I squatted in the upstairs toilet, standing next to me. That's what I said to him. I said, Leo, we are officially best friends now.
Wow.
And that was 2004. But by the time I was there in 2013, 14, because I ended up living there for 2 years because I loved China so much, I stayed an extra year. And I just like didn't give a fuck. 5 holes in the ground, I'll squat, somebody comes in. Because guys in there, they read the fucking paper, they smoke. Like I hate smoking in public places, but I loved people smoking in those toilets because it was a better smell than the fucking smell of those toilets. But
It's
I just
all the
got-
different people's toilet paper too in the trash can.
everything's
so you're
in
not
there.
supposed to have, I believe,
Oh, in the trash can, yeah.
2 different shits anywhere near each other. Like a bunch of your own shit is fine. A bunch of my own shit is fine. When one little piece of your shit comes near one little piece of my shit, it creates another level of disgusting.
Disgusting.
Smell.
Yeah, and
also 30 different shits.
those toilets are disgusting. There's no way around.
What's a nice squatty toilet? They don't
clean?
But so they don't build an actual toilet. They're just like,
No, they have
Get
toilets.
ivory.
Like Renmin had toilets. Like in my university, I had like toilets as we know them.
interesting.
But I ended up like I preferred the squats, man. I love a squatty potty. At the moment, no, I tore my ACL, blah blah blah. But when I was in China, I grew to really love the squatty potty.
Did you ever see footprints on a regular toilet? The seat?
Well, and that's a big joke about Chinese people going abroad and like a
yeah,
shot.
they don't. No one tells them.
Yeah, and also they don't like sitting on toilet. They think. See, the funny thing is that we think squatty toilets are disgusting. They think sitting on a toilet is disgusting.
It is disgusting.
Yeah.
That's not wrong. To put your
Yeah.
ass right where someone else put it. Not like in the region, but like on the thing.
And there was a big campaign like in Hong Kong and like more advanced cities. There was a big campaign against Daluren, like people from the mainland and their fucking shitty habits. 'Cause
Mainlanders.
did you see when the
Fucking
Chinese kids?
mainlanders.
I know that you saw it because we were sitting in the park and we saw the kids with no diapers with a fucking hole in their head.
You were telling me about it, and I was like, didn't believe it. And it goes, oh, there's one right now. And it was so like, what?
Yeah. So though I was sitting in a Starbucks in Tiananmen Square, coincidentally enough, in Tiananmen, the bit behind Tiananmen Square, there's like a cool little sort of old town there, but there's a Starbucks
Old
there.
Town Tiananmen.
Yeah, Starbucks in Old Town Tiananmen. And so I was sitting in the Starbucks with this Chinese comedian, and this fucking like 2-year-old squats next to the table next to us and pisses on the thing, and his piss rolled under our table. And so that drives like the Hong Kong people and the other Asian like tourism areas where there's a lot of Chinese tourists. Those kind of things drive them fucking nuts. So the Chinese are kind of like the Americans of Asia. Like
Yeah.
people love complaining about Chinese tourists.
There's a Hong Kong. I've never experienced racism like I have from Hong Kong Chinese against mainland
against the
Chinese.
mainland.
And they
Daluren.
don't even try to like look both ways. So the story I heard, and by the way, the podcast we did, it's been shifted over. All the travel podcasts from Skeptic Tank, I've shifted over to the
Oh,
Patreon.
right. Okay, so they exist.
So it's on Patreon now. You Be Trippin' Patreon. but it's still there. You can get it. The main ones will be taken down, but like
And that was recorded. The two of us sitting in a park.
crazy,
in
just
Beijing.
audio. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was crazy. But this was the thing they said. The lady caught herself. It was an interviewer. It was an official thing. It wasn't just like a comic talking shit. Just shitting on fucking mainland. I was like, what? She goes, all right, hold on. I'm not, listen, I went too far because I'm very hateful. But she's like, I'm not saying every mainlander, it's derogatory mainlander. I'm not saying every mainlander will shit in the hallway of a mall. But if you see human shit in the hallway of a mall, it was a mainlander.
And again, some of these things become stereotypes, like easy targets. But there was like an official Chinese government like edict, or like there was a publicity campaign about trying to get them to behave better abroad.
Describe the shorts.
The shorts,
Just tell them about the kid shorts.
kids. Yeah. So like, think of a onesie, right? Think of a kid's onesie, but there's essentially like an exit chute for their ass and their cock or their vagina, where they don't wear diapers. They just like when the kid needs to go, they just literally like unleash the evacuation zone.
You would think take your pants down, but they don't. They have that already set up.
No, it's and a lot of them don't even have like a button thing. It's just like.
Well,
it's
when
just
I saw it, it was like
constantly-
a skirt almost, like a skirt shorts.
Yeah.
So it would just be real loose like this, but here, and then but this wouldn't be connected. So when you squatted down, it would
Yeah.
separate, allowing your anus
Yeah.
free reign to the street to
But
mess
some
up
of
your
them are
dinner.
like straight, like an opening.
Yeah.
Like crotch, essentially like crotchless onesie for kids.
And it was just, and after you told me, I noticed it everywhere. Where some kids like looking back at his mom's like,
Yeah,
"Go,
go,
go." And I'm
go.
like, what? And he's like, should I? His innate nature is this is wrong. And she's like, go. And then he's like, okay. And he just pisses just on the street.
Yeah. Yeah. And like at those like the short stool places we were talking about, like
Yeah.
those guys would just walk to the side and just like unload.
Do
there
it
was
like 10 feet away.
There was a looseness to the toilet stuff.
Wow.
So can I make one point
Yeah.
that's kind of like a bit like
Wait, do you have it in your head?
yeah.
Keep it in your head for a second. I go to the bathroom.
Oh, go.
Keep it in your head. Where
It's
you're-
ideal. I came with it, so it's not gonna.
Wait, hold on. I'm gonna tap you back in.
Do
Right
your
after-
seamless.
Right after you make, can I make one point? Okay, you just said, can I make one point, guys? Here we go.
Now this is me kind of pushing an agenda here.
That's
Like-
fine. Wait. I didn't do it yet.
Oh, sorry. I thought you did it.
No, yeah, that's me. This
That
is
was
me
the
telling
rehearsal?
them- Oh, go ahead. So I'm thinking, you just said, can I make one point? And now it's me going, yeah, sure, go ahead.
Well, now I have to admit that this is me. This is like a little bit of a soapbox moment for me.
Okay.
I am not saying that free speech isn't an issue in the United States.
Yeah.
But having lived through 2 years of Chinese comedy and then having watched what's
Wow.
happened to Chinese comedy since, which has gotten quite
The
bad.
squirrel joke.
Just things have gotten bad there, tough like for comics. Like it's
Yeah.
heavily censored.
You know about that stuff from like 6-8 months ago, right?
What was that?
They compared the Chinese government to like a squirrel, and they're like, how
Oh.
dare you get fined $1 million?
I saw that one, but this one is more serious. I'm not going to name the guy, but there's a guy, a
It's
Chinese comedian.
irresponsible to name them.
There's this guy I know that he was really kind of starting out in the early days. I don't remember him actually, but he actually once said in an interview that I was one of the inspirations for him realizing that you could make a living from stand-up comedy.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So he became very famous in China after I left as one of those initial 脱口秀演员, one of those initial stand-up comedians, and killed it. Big career, big money. Goes on a tour of America and decides, I'm going to fucking tell the truth. And when I say tell the truth, he does what would be considered very tepid critical humor about China. Tepid.
Like, give me an American version of it.
Fucking, Biden and Trump aren't fucking. Is this the best two people we have?
Okay. Great. I
Like
got
that
the line
level.
now. Okay.
Like what would be considered standard fare for any night of the week on any network
And he
television.
does that
any-
here.
He does it on a Mandarin show, but it's a tour for expats around the United States. And somebody goes on Weibo and fucking.
What is that?
Sorry, the Chinese Twitter.
Okay.
Sorry, it goes on Chinese Twitter. And I think it was like written. I can't give you the full details. All I know is that this guy is never been back to China. He's in hiding now because he was wiped from the internet. And this is how wiped he was. my friend who was telling me this story, my Chinese friend who was visiting here. So WeChat is their main, like,
WeChat, yeah.
WeChat's their WhatsApp.
They're WhatsApp, but they use it way more than that.
Yeah, it's like their everything.
Okay.
Imagine
all spied on.
Imagine WhatsApp, Facebook,
iMessage, all of it.
All of it.
Do that.
It's WeChat. It's like everything happens on WeChat.
Yeah, they have a Facebook version of it. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So my buddy goes to try to message him to be like, I heard about this. He doesn't exist. His contact, everything's gone. He's been wiped. His WeChat, his Weibo, everything gone.
Not like they're like, well, we're going to suggest your videos less than you.
Gone. Doesn't exist.
Tiananmen Square.
Just gone. But he's not gone, though. He's in hiding. And I am happy to be fact checked. I know that
is his Western like profiles, those are all still there.
Well, I don't even know if
Instagram.
he has them or whatever.
Right.
I haven't. I'm actually finding it very hard to get information on him, but I know that he's in hiding. And
And he can't go back to China.
That's my understanding, unless they got him and he's back to. I don't know, but all I'm saying is that like it happens that fast. And by the way, I have I've known numerous people that have had varying levels of like when I was in China, the biggest Bob Hope of China was this guy Zhao Benshan. This just. If you watched him as a comedian, you would appreciate, even though it's like obviously like old school, like Abbott and Costello type shit, you would appreciate the skill of this guy. This guy's like Red Fox, fucking like old school, just like classic comic, but character comic, but amazing, like amazing. And during my time in China, Xi Jinping had decided that like certain types of Chinese humor were like lowbrow, and this guy's career disappeared overnight.
Didn't even say anything wrong. Like, we're just not going to do that.
No, he was
we're
done.
not going to doing sex
His
jokes
career's
anymore.
over. Like canceled, but like canceled forever. Like obviously we know now that cancellation is like an inconvenience. Not in China. Canceled, really canceled, right? And then B Fujian. So there's a guy called Lao Bi. So people call me Lao Bi in China, but it's kind of a joke because there is a famous Chinese comedian with the same last name that I picked.
Yeah.
And while I was in China, this guy was the most famous guy. He's like Ryan Seacrest, a little bit older, but he's hosting the New Year's Gala in China, which is the most watched TV show in the world. Like 1 billion people watch that shit, right?
Possible, yeah.
Every year, the Chunwan, the most famous. He hosted it, does a corporate, and he sings some old joke about Mao, some old fucking joke song about Mao Zedong, who fucking is a nightmare historical figure, but they have decided that he's been resurrected, so he's 30% bad, 70% good, right?
Yeah, they have his picture everywhere.
Yeah,
and,
right?
And I'm like, didn't he kill like?
He was a disaster. He's a terrible
30
leader.
million Chinese.
Yeah. In every way, he was a bad leader. He sings this dumb, jokey song. He's over. His career's been over since. Yeah. So like people really get what
like
they
the Disney chicks got it. They're still touring.
They disappear.
They're just not arena acts. They're massive theater.
So here's my point about, and I'm all for the free speech arguments, but when people talk about, because I hear people compare it to China.
You will never understand that level.
But here's the thing. It's like, we have free speech here because, yes, it's inconvenient when certain corporations or certain aspects of the media decide you are no longer eligible. That is fucked up. I'm not defending that. But what we have here is, so here we have a flowing river. And if they decide to block the river, here the river can divert and find a new flow. And actually, that new flow, as it turns out, is pretty fucking
cool.
You make a lot of money on that flow.
Yeah.
Right? And that happened pretty quick.
My buddy said this about cancel culture. He goes, we should all be thanking whoever started it.
Yeah, because actually there's a lot of money in the tributary that came. But in China, they fucking dam that river. And
the water just goes underground and disappears.
Or it just gets cleansed with fucking chlorine, like they detoxify it, and it stays that way forever. It never is a river again. So like you just, I appreciate the inconvenience, and I am not saying that we don't have issues around free speech in the United States, but it's when the people compare it, they have no idea. Because we don't really have state censorship. We have trends.
It's not state censorship. It's a touch of state, but it's generally corporate censorship.
And also, by the way,
social censorship.
Corporate censorship, social censorship, and we talked a lot about that in China too, about the fact that a lot of it is self-censorship, and that's real.
We Big Brother ourselves.
But ours was also just like a period of time. Like it's already passed. You know what I mean? It was like a moment in time where we had these power dynamic shifts, and actually some of the power shifted to places where power, surprise, surprise, got fucking abused because people always abuse power.
Yeah.
But actually, it all
The
kind of
military, the left wing,
kind of levels off.
everybody's like, oh, I got this power now. I want it all my way, and not like, well, I don't like this, but you can do it.
it kind of levels off. But here's the reality: is I'm very open to arguments about free speech. But what I will also say is that we have spaces to go to still speak, whereas you do not
You
in
can still
China.
do an open mic always.
And it's fucked up that you had to go find another place, but it's pretty cool that you could find it.
Yeah.
And you don't have that in China, and that's real. That's not exaggerated.
Wow. I remember being in Montreal. They were protesting. It might have turned into riots. I don't know, but protesting about the raise in tuition. And I was talking to some of the students, like, how much are they trying to raise? Like $200 a year. I'm like, how much is it now? Like 1,100. They're trying to get up to 1,300, and I was like, just laughed in their face.
American, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like,
As an American, it's like, what?
20 grand a year is on the cheaper end.
Standard, yeah.
Yeah, like, I'm
Cheap.
so sorry your tuition went. But like, it's a real thing. It's like, right, same thing. Not to diminish your struggle. It's wrong what they're doing to you.
Yes.
But it's hard for me to understand.
Yeah, and again, I'm not trying to say that.
Yeah.
But I also think, thank God, that like things have moved on from that time where it did feel a bit. It did actually in America. It did feel a bit oppressive, and I used to like to use the example of like the sort of small cultural revolution where everyone's like outing everybody else for like clout. You know,
Yeah.
but then what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Then you get fucking you
Well, it's
live
one
by
of my,
the sword,
it's
die
one
by
of my
the sword.
favorite things when somebody tries to out somebody, and then they'll go to that person's old tweets, and they'll be like, and then I remember seeing some Asian, like, I go, wait, am I getting canceled for stuff that I claim this person did? And it was like, yeah, dude, you shouldn't have brought it up.
Yes.
You shouldn't have brought it up because also they're not a monster. They were just making a joke, just the same way you were.
So I messaged Nimesh when he got in trouble for his fucking, his Columbia thing. And I messaged him. I was like, oh, look, it's a mini cultural revolution. But it's a joke because in actual fact, those things were
What did
horrific,
Nimesh get
whereas
in trouble
ours are
for?
inconvenience. What?
What did Nemo?
You
Oh,
don't
at Columbia
remember
University.
Columbia University.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah,
that's my soapbox moment. Over.
okay. Drugs, booze.
I don't drink and I don't do drugs, so I stopped drinking when I was 95 when I was
Okay.
19. So that's not my area of expertise.
So you didn't really see it. You weren't around it.
No, I mean
Baiju is their thing, right?
Baijiu, yeah. And that culture is very complicated.
Yeah.
Because so as my friend said, you're much better to not drink at all than to try to drink a little. Because once you start there, then you're in the game, which is like Gambay, like because they're big into like have a shot with me, basically. They're big into that.
They're a country of DeRosas.
Yeah. So, but when you get in these, there's a lot of social rules that I didn't even fully understand. And as we said, they're big into hierarchy. They're big into like saving face. Did you know that they have there's like a prime position at like a round table. So say you're like
At a round table.
So if you're eating for like 10 people, because they love doing the big dinners on the Lazy Susans, and they like private rooms. That like private rooms are considered very high end in China. That's like a flex,
Wow.
right? And food is everything in China, right? So a lot of Chinese culture is around food. Going out, like the way Irish go to the pub, the Chinese people go to eat. So you get a fancy restaurant with a round table, and the boss has to be at the table furthest from the door, the most important guy. And then the person to the left of the boss, I think, is like the guest of honor. And that's like very important. So like the guest of honor will always so they do the Lazy Susan, so they order like 20 dishes.
So
and
he sits first and sets the head.
yeah, but the
And then it goes
Lao
from-
Ban will always get the guest of honor to get like the first bit. Like that's like respect. But then like
love
when the
that stuff.
fucking boss, and by the way, I'm like paraphrasing on like an outside observers. If there's any Chinese people listening, I'm open to correction. But my quick understanding, like so. But then like if it's like a work event, and like you're all the underlings,
Yeah.
and the boss is like drinking, like you gotta fucking
Then you're
you gotta
drinking.
go with the boss.
Right. And also does the other way work? Where like if he's not drinking, I can't get.
I assume so, but I don't know because I never saw that.
But if the boss is drinking, then you gotta.
You gotta go Gambay when the boss is like, because they're big in like, hey,
What a
hey,
great excuse
hey.
to come home.
What do they say? They say, Hebei. Like, so Gambay is just like, like down in one. Gambay means dry glass, right? That's actually what Gambay means.
Okay.
I mean,
Dry glass.
Bay is a glass,
Like
right?
dry glass,
So,
Gambay.
But like, but
Gambay,
they don't always say
write it
Gambay. They sometimes say Hebei, like, basically like drink a glass with me.
Okay.
So
how is it? I want to say this at a Chinese place. Gambe.
well, let me check the pronunciation myself. I don't want to be like teaching you bad Chinese because I have to be honest. Like I can
Ganbei.
get into some bad habits myself.
Yeah, okay. When I was in Paris, I learned how. May I please have?
Oh, it's actually ganbei. So ganbei, it's two first tones. Ganbei.
Oh, even no.
Yeah, ganbei.
Okay, ganbei.
I'll play it for you so you can.
Okay.
You can
Yeah,
hear
play the
the
mic.
Ganbei.
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 Oh, ganbei.
Ganbei.
Oh yeah, they drop off the tone on the second one because it's two first tones together.
Oh,
but anyway,
like
ganbei. So like, but the Hebei, like you have to like. Right. And so here's a hilarious Chinese little cultural thing. I actually wanted to do a sketch about it once. So the Chinese people have this thing about like being lower than you. That's like a sign of respect. Like so, they try to drink lower than
like
you.
this?
So like if you're drinking, they'll try to get
To
like
show you
under,
respect?
So actually, sorry, it's for the cheers. So when they cheers, they try to cheer lower as if they're saying like I respect you. But like you can get pretty fucking low sometimes. It's like a battle for low. So I wanted to do this. I wanted to do a sketch
Yeah.
where like you end up like
On the
in
floor,
hell.
like-
You end up like in hell trying to get. But of course I didn't have the. Now the technology's improved. I probably could have done it.
Yeah.
But at the time I didn't have the know-how. But just the desire to get lower is quite funny.
Yeah.
Because they always do it. Because like people are equal, so it's not a big deal who gets lower. But they're always trying to get lower for the cheers, for the actual clink. They're
Yeah.
trying to clink lower than your glass.
That's so funny.
So there's a lot of that strange societal.
I
stuff.
liked it.
And
I was-
paying the bill. Humongous. Like the boss should pay the bill. Like a
So
lot
it's
of
disrespectful to pay on somebody?
yeah, I like that was one of my jokes that I actually did in the show at Joe Wong was I would do a joke about like people from the Northeast trying to pay a bill and it's like a fucking like full on
I got it.
a battle.
Yeah.
So
Northeast of China.
yeah, that would be the joke in China because it's like a stereotype. They're like super friendly, you know. So, but then my joke was, like, if I was in Beijing, I would say Shanghai. If I was in Shanghai, I'd say Beijing. So then I'd say Shanghai people paying the bill, and they'd be like, so like you go to pay
Talk
the
about
bill,
all
and
of
then the
them.
other guy goes, well, I will, and then the Shanghai guy's like, okay. You know, and they think that's hilarious because, like, yeah, they're fucking
Those
cheap.
fucking
They're
idiots
fucking
over
cheap,
there.
man. They're fucking cheap.
We're the best. They're the worst.
But actually, like, you know, it's like I treat you like like I treat you as like it's a really big deal for them. So much so that like their word for splitting the bill is AA. I actually can't remember why it's AA because it's actually two Western letters, AA and then jur. That means sharing the bill, but to them that's like foreign.
That's okay. It's tacky.
Splitting the bill, yeah. Like somebody's getting the bill.
So funny because I grew up with Jews. So when you go, but I live amongst normals in high society and in the biggest metropolis in America, and like you know,
Why
I'm
am I
out.
getting it?
No, it's no, it's when you go like I'll get this round. They're like, okay, how much do we owe you for that? I'm like, no, I got a round.
Yes.
I went and got it, and they're like, all right, well, what's $7.50? How much do we? I was like, guys, stop, just get the next round. But what if you order a more expensive beer by $1? I don't know, man. I'm not thinking about it.
Yeah.
It evens out in the wash.
It evens out, man. And that's the way it works in China too. It evens out.
One of the things I loved culturally was I was in Vietnam, and I think it might have been Korean eating style, but it's nobody pours their own glass of beer. They have
That's a
ice,
good
and so it's like, let me pour for everybody, not me. Someone will pour for me. I'm treating everyone else like a king, and we all should be treated like kings, even though then they ignore the part where like, but I'm a servant now. Like, no. You're just honoring these other kings around you.
Yes, and that is.
I
also-
serve off the
that's
thing
same
to
in China,
everybody.
though, with the,
Okay.
Yeah, that's like respect. You know, like respecting because so part of Confucianism is like how you treat guests. It's almost like spiritual. So it's like intrinsic in their value system.
Yeah.
The way we have like Judeo-Christian values, they have Confucian values, and those Confucian values really value treating guests and xiaoshun, like honoring the mother and father and honoring hierarchy, knowing your place. So those are things that are like, you know, in us, in them as a basic value.
Basic
and
value.
it's a slight. You'd notice how it affects their society because they look after old people a lot better than we do. Because the way if they didn't look after old people, to them would be the way that I don't know what would be a good example.
Well,
of
I've got an example.
Okay.
So this guy Rolf Potts, my buddy, so he speaks at a lot of schools, travel writer, and he goes invariably they're going to ask about dog as meat.
right.
And he's like, they're like, have you ever eaten dog? And he's like, just to say yes is going to have them all scream. He goes, listen, there's cultural differences, and I know what you're looking at is eating dogs.
Yes.
They look at us equally with the way we treat our elderly.
Yeah. Amen. Amen.
We stuck
That's a
them off
great
in homes.
comparison.
They bring them home to live with them
Yeah,
out
and
their
it's
years.
part of the family. Like it's just, and that's the way it is. And they also live healthier. I mean, that's why.
And they look at us like, you do what to them? That's crazy. And we don't even think twice about it.
Yes. So that's a perfect example. But that is like I do think that some of that comes from the Confucianism, like as a just like a base thing. But that's really what
There's
a
something
lot
you
of the
could tell.
Chinese people. So here was another point I used to make about the Chinese comedy. People would always say, "Oh, but you can't say anything there, right?" And it's like, well, listen, they can't talk about the government, and that's what we think is like, what's the word for what when you like confront power? What's the word for that in terms of like, that type of comedy? Like, anyway,
Yeah.
the vocab has just gone out of my head at the moment. But like, what's pretty groundbreaking for them is to just speak about their personal lives openly, because they always say the West is very kaifang. Like Westerners are very open, right? They always say that, right? And for them to be open on stage, because all their comedy before was like wordplay, kind of like not really them, not connected to them. For somebody to go up and be like, my parents, just anything, like anything about their childhood.
Old John Mulaney and new John Mulaney. Where I was let me tell you a story about the Civil War, and now it's like, hey, I got hell on the drugs.
Yeah. So for them to be personal is actually
revolutionary.
And that's what used to bug me about people being like, yeah, but they can't say anything there. And it's like, yeah, but Lenny Bruce does shit that now is hack, but it was revolutionary.
Yeah, and it's also very short time period in this grand scheme of things. Lenny
Yeah.
Bruce was very recent.
Yeah. And he broke ground for us, but also just for society to be like, why do we have these hangups? But he wasn't actually like, it actually doesn't seem that groundbreaking what he did now, because he broke the ground for us, right? And what they're doing now doesn't seem that groundbreaking to Westerners, but it's pretty fucking groundbreaking to Chinese people.
Wow, to speak just
and even to just challenge like parental relationships, or they joke a lot about the like the way they joke about the pressure of relationships.
Yeah.
And like very rigid structures. Because over there, if you want to get married, the mother of the daughter will expect you to buy an apartment in Beijing before you propose. It is unacceptable to propose in a middle-class Beijing family. They will not be happy if you propose without having bought an apartment.
And at the time you were living with your parents?
You live with the parents and then you buy an apartment. It's like,
So
don't
now it's
even
like-
think about it.
Right. You have
Don't-
to show them where you're going to
Yeah,
start your
don't
life.
even think
where's
about it.
Oh, wow.
In my second year in China, I had a full relationship with a Xuan Chinese girl, Chinese comedian. I met her through Beituo, and we got quite serious. And in the end, I had to leave after my second year, and I wanted her to emigrate, and it just very complicated. But I met her parents in Thailand because it was Chinese New Year and they wanted to go on a holiday. So I was like, hey, let's meet in Thailand. I don't have to get a fucking Chinese visa, which is a pain in the ass. And you guys, it's one of the only countries that Chinese people can travel to visa free, right? So they can go easy peasy. Let's go to Thailand. So I meet her parents for the first time in Thailand. I met them. We sat down in some cafe in fucking Phuket. And the second question she asked me was, when are you going to buy an apartment?
Wow.
That was her second question. And I said, at that time.
What was the first question? Did you fart?
Like, how are you? Right?
Yeah, okay.
And then, so at the time, and this is not a flex, this is what I said to her. At the time, I had an apartment in London, I had 2 houses in Dublin, and I had an apartment in New York. And I said that to her in Mandarin, and she says, what's that got to do with me? You need to have an apartment in Beijing. That's actually what she said to me. Like an agent. Like fucking, like Tom Cruise.
What's that? Yeah, it's also like great. Yeah, I need a place here near my kid.
Yeah. So, and then,
Wow.
yeah. So in the end, I couldn't get her to emigrate actually.
So it broke up.
Eventually we broke up. We were long distance for quite a while, but eventually broke. I mean, it was impossible. And it was a pity. I mean,
Was
we
there
had a great-
differences in dating a Chinese lady versus a Dubliner or an American?
I don't know where to begin. Like, you got to feed them.
What do you mean?
Like, literally, like, she would get annoyed because, so as I said, Chinese always eat communally, right? So the food goes in the middle. She would get annoyed that I didn't, like, take meat off the plate, off the middle
serving
plate, and put it onto her plate. Or even...
Like you weren't even...
Or even
let me
put
get
it in
over
her
that.
mouth. Because, like, that to her is, like, cute. Like, that's... So
hot.
one time we went out on a double date with a proper Chinese, like
Yeah.
two couple, and like professional Chinese, like Chinese in their 30s doing well. I haven't had a lot of this like double date experience, and he's like real Chinese, real traditional. So he's fucking feeding her, and she's like, "See, that's how you do it." Fucking feed her. And in my mind, I'm like, if I tried to feed a fucking Western woman, she'd smack me in the fucking head.
What? Yeah, imagine here.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna try that on my next date. I'm gonna try that.
Put that in your mouth.
Put it in your mouth.
Yeah.
Put it in your mouth.
That's
I
one
mean,
of
that's
the
like
1,000.
Dice would do something like that in his old character.
Yeah, there's a word. So I have a routine in Chinese. So this is a 100% true story. So we ended up having a fucking huge fight over what? I have no idea. Yeah. Right? Over nothing. Fucking huge fight. And I wasn't giving an inch, right?
Okay.
So I have a routine about how the reason why I got so good at Chinese is because I had to fucking, if you're gonna fucking have a relationship, you gotta argue.
Des
Right?
Arnaz, yeah.
So we're really going at it, right? And she was like, I wouldn't give in. So she was like, can you not hung wall? So hung is a very hard word. Oh no! So it's a hard word to translate, but she's basically like, "Can't you just fucking humor me?" Basically, is like a semi decent, right? So I was like, what? So she goes, I'm so way true, right? Way true, which directly translates as like wronged, but like wrong doesn't really capture what it means for Chinese people to say, "I'm fucking way true," you know?
Oh.
But she's basically saying
have
like,
been-
"You fucking wronged me." Like there's an injustice happening in this argument,
Wow.
right?
I
So-
mean, they're white chicks. That's it. They're just white chicks.
So I had no idea
Yeah.
what fucking way two meant, and we're fucking going at each other. So I take out my phone to look up. Now this joke doesn't work in English, by the way, because I've already given away the punchline. But I take out my phone to look up what fucking way two means, and she storms out of the fucking apartment, and I run after her. I'm like, "What are you doing?" And she goes, "I'm fucking trying to talk to you, and you're fucking looking at your phone." And I said, "I don't know what Wei Chu means," right? Which to Chinese people, that moment is hilarious because Wei Chu is such a big word for them. But the fact that like I had to fucking look it up in the heat of battle, right? So this is not like a routine, but this is like a funny true story. So I said, "I don't know what Wei Chu means," and she fucking walks away, gets in a fucking 200 kwai taxi, which you know in American money it's only like $10, but like in China, fucking expensive taxi. She gets a taxi all the way to the other side of Beijing where she lives. She leaves my apartment, goes, it's like a fucking hour to her fucking apartment. I guess she cooled down. I fucking called her. I was like, "Please, can you come back?" She said, "Only if you come get me." Okay? And this is all like super Chinese. So I get a fucking...
So this isn't her being erect. This is standard behavior.
This is standard, man.
Wow.
Standard.
You can't tell that to another friend of yours, and he won't be like, "What?" He'll be like, "Yeah, you know."
No, he'd be like, "You should have known what way too, man." Right? So anyway,
You fucked up.
So I go all the way back to fucking her neighborhood in a fucking taxi. I get her. We go all the way back to my apartment, right? And in the taxi back, she goes, "When you said, 'I don't know what way two means,' I wanted to laugh. But to laugh is to lose." That's what she said to me. That's how much of a fucking face.
Wow.
That's the battle that we were in.
God damn. She's
To laugh,
Shaolin.
to laugh is to lose.
What? You found it funny though. What? Wow.
She didn't
You're
wanna
like,
give
I'm
in.
a stand-up.
She did. So was she though.
Oh, wow.
She didn't want to give in. So I told that story, not the laugh bit, but I told the Wei Chu translation joke on Chinese television and got a fucking huge laugh. And by the way, I'd never met her parents, and her parents watched that live. It was the first time they'd ever seen me perform, and they thought that was fucking hilarious.
Oh.
They watched that in Mandarin stand-up,
Wow.
and they thought that was really funny. And it was clean enough that I could tell it on TV. Anyway, so I did have a Chinese relationship, and I had a couple of casual things, but
Yeah.
but that was a real.
Were they hung up about sex for like the casual things?
I
Or was
thought
it,
that
like,
they
right away?
were,
Yeah.
but actually they don't talk about like another thing. Chinese stand-up, like very little sexual material, like very little.
Will chicks fuck there though?
So what I discovered what happened was I got better at Chinese, and then I started to understand it a bit more. And to my surprise, a couple of times I was like, "Oh shit, we're having a one night stand. I didn't know this was a
Even
thing."
possible, right?
Yeah, and then it was, and it was like, and it's such an interesting Chinese one night stand because it was just like it happens, and then like we don't discuss, you know,
Wow.
because they're just not kaifang. They're not open.
Sex in the City would never play there. Where it's just them talking about their fucking.
Yeah, but I'm sure it's changed a lot now too. Like it changed. Their society is really changing quite rapidly. So I'm giving, and I've even
It's
had
your version of
I
it, though.
had
That's all we're trying to
criticisms.
do.
I have criticisms about the pressure on Chinese kids in relationships from the parents, and I put that bit up recently. It's in English, but it's kind of like in 2014. It was a pretty good observation, and I had a lot of people being like, "That's a bit old," and I was like, "Well, actually, it is.
Yeah,
like
it's old.
China changes
Yeah.
so fast that 10 years ago this was relevant, and I think it's actually changed a bit since then. So I'd say they're even more open, but I can't. That's one area like I don't want to give.
yeah,
a
you're
false
just speaking about your experience.
my
in
experience
2013.
then, and that was 2013,
2010.
2014. But
How'd you get around? Buses, subways, trains, and stuff with all those normal
planes,
They
trains,
work
the
well.
fucking Gautier, the fucking high speed trains, man, best thing
yeah,
ever.
yeah.
Best thing ever. Their transport now. I mean, if you can, if you can wipe out villages with a fucking swipe of a pen, it's pretty easy to create incredible infrastructure. And that's what we're up against in terms of competing with China. Is just like the government owns all the land. There's no private ownership in China. It's all you own your apartment, but your apartment is on leased land. So if they decide they want to do something else with the land, you don't really have any rights.
Taking whatever offer they give you, if anything.
Yeah, yeah. So they have a lot more control over
I
society.
remember them telling me in one of them, they were like, "There's no homeless people on your subway platforms here." They're like, "Yeah, well, it's like privately owned from the government. So like, if there's a homeless guy, like, beat it.
Yeah, beat it.
There's not like, well, I have a right to be." It's like, you don't. Goodbye.
Yeah, but also like all those villages, like the 6th Ring Road in
Yeah.
China. Like people complain about what the Cross Bronx did to the Bronx, but like all those roads in China, they didn't destroy neighborhoods by ruining the fabric of the neighborhood. They fucking just got rid of them.
Wow.
And you had no choice. So it's quite brutal. Their development is quite brutal. But I mean,
We have the problem is you look at like we're so much better, but like what they did in Chavez Ravine to build Dodger Stadium, they're like, "Hey, you got to go. Here's your price." Like, what price? I mean, they're like, "Well, you have a hut." I'm like, but it's been my hut in this land for fucking 200 years.
yes. And there's
And
a
they're
lot
like,
of that
beat
in
it.
China.
And they're like, "I can't afford a new place with that." They're like, beat it. We're building Dodger Stadium.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times people kind of don't process that like a lot of what we complain about in certain countries happened here not that long ago, and luckily we've moved on.
Yeah.
But they I mean it's a dictatorship basically.
Yeah.
It's not communism. I think I personally call
It's
it
not communism, right?
State-run capitalism.
State. That's a good way. I was trying to come up with a way to say it because the rich are rich, the poor are poor. They don't just give all their money in and get back. They're like,
No, you have less
state-run
rights.
Capitalism.
You have less rights in Beijing without a hukou. So if you're a poor person from Fujian province that goes to Beijing to work, to make money, and you don't have a Beijing hukou, you are an immigrant. You have no rights. Your kids, if you bring your kids, they can't go to school, right? They've created like immigrant schools for kids with no hukou. Hukou is like essentially like an internal passport, right? So if you don't have a fucking Beijing hukou, you're an immigrant, even though you're an internal migrant. You are Chinese, but you might as well be an immigrant. Like I felt like I had more rights as a fucking on a 1-year student visa than a migrant worker.
Wow.
So it's
It's just different cultures.
10
You gotta learn.
episodes we could do about how fucking complicated it was.
All right, let's wrap this up then.
Okay.
Do they eat dog there? Is that a general thing?
I never had dog. It's not a big thing. There's only really one part of China where they're into dogs somewhere in the south, and they have like a festival every year, and that usually drums up the Western media at that festival. I believe the Koreans are more into dog, but
I think so.
I'm with you on one of those things. It's just like that's just a cultural difference. Like I have no desire to eat dog, but they're basically they raise dogs to be slaughtered.
Right, it's a different thing.
So we eat cow, and people can't make.
But then when they had that thing with like they were selling horse meat as beef, and everyone's up in arms, and Doug Stanhope had a tweet. It was like, "Oh, how dare you give us a more nutritious, more cost-effective meat?"
Yeah, because you have more of an affinity with a horse than
Yeah.
a fucking cow, you know?
Yeah, it's not like they're putting the leashes in the food.
Yeah, right? As long as the
don't
dog
see-
tag doesn't
you don't
fucking
see
show up in
bandit
your teeth.
your thing, like, ugh.
Yeah, so I probably did eat dog.
What's in all here? I
So,
always wondered here. There's no
that's-
cities here.
That's Tibet, babe. Well, there's Lhasa, there's Tibet. This is Xinjiang. All the
Are there cities here
Xinjiang.
that people
This is
just
the-
aren't mapped out?
Isn't
Or is
this
that
like
desert?
the Gobi Desert?
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's the Gobi Desert, I think.
Oh, okay.
I think, or like it's also like some of the mountains. So and then this is Xinjiang, which is its own issues.
Yeah.
And again, not an expert. Wow, so this is fucking Chengdu. So this is Sichuan. So yeah, they did just Xinjiang is a huge part of China, but culturally they're a lot more in common with fucking Kazakhstan and the
Yeah, and if you're
Tajikistan.
in here, you're more Russian than you are Beijingish.
Oh my God, these people don't look that. They don't look,
Yeah.
and their food is like Turkish food. It's awesome, by the way. Xinjiang food,
Xinjiang,
the lamb skewers, by the way, is their food.
Oh,
It's
wow.
Muslim food. They're Muslim.
Oh wow.
They're Muslim. That's why
Yeah.
they're eating lamb.
I love how it's like Chinese food. You're like, you got to narrow that down a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Most
they're
of what we
wildly
ate
different.
as kids was Cantonese food, but these days, let's face it, the Chinese food is way better than it used to be.
Szechuan's way better.
Yeah, you can eat some fucking seriously good Chinese food here. We'll do another episode sometime.
We'll do another episode. Yeah.
But yeah, if you see these people from Xinjiang, they look like they're from Kazakhstan, and their food is like more like Turkish food. It's all Silk Road shit.
This is something I ask everybody: is what countries are on your like mind to go to, if there's one, and also like if you have any just general travel tips
Well, I've never been to Africa, anywhere in Africa.
you want.
I need to go, but I need to see like the Northern African experience, because I actually tried to do learning Arabic, but I couldn't get that off the ground. But I want to have that experience. I want to have like some African experiences without being like a classic fucking poverty tourist.
That hard safari hat.
And what was the second question?
Travel tips.
I mean, my travel tips is always like, don't just follow the guide. Take a risk. Don't take a risk with your life, but like try to just have an experience that is random.
Well, the risk then is, oh, this might not be the thing to do today. I might have wasted my day.
Which
But
is,
that's the risk. But
that's part of the adventure.
Yeah,
you
you're already there.
That's what I think. Because I've done trips where I've just like obsessed. Back in the rough guide days, I felt like if it's not in the rough guide, then you shouldn't do it. But then you gotta like
It was just one guy's experience.
just let it happen. And obviously, don't follow strangers, but like try to meet people, connect with people. Like I remember one night I ended up in Belo Horizonte in Brazil, and we were on the way to somewhere else. We had to spend the night, and this random dude just wanted to talk to us, and it really sounded like a situation where we could have got robbed. But again, outside like a fucking candy store, my girlfriend at the time and these people were drinking. I was hanging out, and we could hardly speak any English. But we, you know, what we bonded over. Speaking about funny jokes, their English was terrible. I couldn't speak Portuguese. He said, Bill Clinton, and then he made the blowjob sound with his hand, and we fucking died laughing. That's how long ago this was, by the way. But he goes, Bill Clinton, and does a blowjob thing, and we all fucking laughed. And that guy, without any English, took us out dancing to some like rough Brazilian dancing club. So just like take risks with people too.
Yeah, generally I see people like when you tell them stories of you taking a risk, they're like, you could have been killed, something could have happened to you. I'm like, but you're using it as an example of something that didn't happen.
Yes.
To prove of the danger. You're telling me, I'm showing you something where it all ended up safely, and you're saying, see, it's
and
dangerous.
that's a special night. That night in Belo Horizonte, when I tell Brazilians I was in Belo Horizonte, they're like, why?
And you had a blast.
Fucking incredible night by accident. So that's it. Let the awesome accidents happen. Obviously, don't be stupid, as we say in the Irish accent. But do not be afraid to take risks.
Wow.
But that's me though.
Yeah.
Everyone has like a different desire. You don't know the amount of people that said to me, "How could you like China?" To some people, China has
so
been
you've been there? Like, no, I've never.
No, they've been.
And they hated it.
They hated it. Like the antithesis of what they would want on a trip.
Everyone has their own experience. I met people in Burma when I went there, Myanmar, and it was 6 days in, and we're on the back of a truck and we're all talking, and it was this couple, and they were like, "How have you guys liked everything?" We're all kind of talking, and they're like, because their culture, the Buddhist culture there is to help people.
Yes,
it's like a big joy for them. And they go, we've just only had people scam us and be mean and be what, and we're like, well, I've had. She goes, hey, listen, I've already been over this with tons of other travelers. I know that's not the normal experience, but we just got unlucky. And everybody we met was trying to scam us. Of all the 7 scammers in the whole country, we found 6 of them. So it's like, all right, well, then that's your experience now.
Yeah.
But you
By
had
the
a
way,
blast in China.
I got fucking ripped off in Soho in London because I got lured into one of these titty bars, and then they scam you for fucking tons of money at the end
it can
because
happen everywhere.
you bought $1,000 worth of drinks for the dancer. You know, so like you get scammed anywhere, man.
Yeah. What a fucking fun time. 2 years in China.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was life changing for me. I mean, I was working the first year. The second year, I'm fucking speaking Mandarin. I was like, I'm not leaving here. What am I gonna do with my fucking Mandarin? So I spent another year doing Mandarin comedy. But like honestly, those are 2 of the best years of my life. There were times where I'd be cycling in fucking Beijing because I cycled everywhere. You can't drive.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to drive as a foreigner. You're not allowed to have
pollution.
It was very bad then.
Okay.
That was an issue. But I'd be cycling around, and every now and then I would just be like, how the fuck did I end up here? But it was such a fast. Because by the way, when I was there, I was pretty well known in Ireland at that time. Like, there was a time where I was like,
You
the top
left
3
being
comedians
known.
in Ireland. And like I was like, and
Who, you,
again, I don't
Tommy,
mean this
who's
as a
been on
boast,
here?
but you have to understand. And suddenly I'm just like cycling in China, like living, and I'm like, how the fuck did this happen? And I loved it. It was very like liberating.
Yeah.
But again, I'm aware of the privilege in that. And people always say, how did you learn Chinese in a year? It's like, if you were able to just throw your whole life into learning a language, I guarantee you would. If you got paid to learn, you'd fucking learn.
What would you tell someone who's going to China? Like, oh, this is something you should like do or see or be.
Well,
or,
I
or
literally would tell them, sit on those fucking pink chairs. It's funny that you brought it up because I would say, like, that's what you have to do.
Mine would be bring a travel pack of toilet paper. That's mine.
That's very practical
That's my
advice.
real advice to anyone going, like, just get someone home here now. Bring like 5 of them. Just keep in your pocket at
And
all
I would
times.
tell them, make sure you go to Yunnan province because actually Yunnan province, you can get both the Chinese culture plus like that, almost like Southeast Asian
Where's that?
traveling experience.
Down up.
Yunnan province it's down here. Kunming is the
Oh yeah, that's the overlap to
yeah,
to
you
Myanmar,
could, yeah,
to Burma.
and down there is fucking awesome, and they have a lot of Shaoshu Mingzu, the minority groups. There's a lot of them down
That's
there.
the Uyghurs.
No,
Different
the Uyghurs are the Xinjiang people.
Oh.
They're Muslims. These people are like minority, like just loads of different tribes.
Wow.
And that brings
New culture.
yeah. Like I went down to fucking Luguhu and the Tibetan plateau. It's not in Tibet, but it's on the Tibetan plateau. A lake at 2,400 meters above sea level is like flat land, and ended up like just fucking eating goat on a spit with a bunch of fucking Chinese tourists.
Wow.
In
With
2004.
Chinese tourists.
Yeah, in 2004. And it was fucking awesome.
Yeah, there's like subcultures that are like, when I was in Paris, we were looking for late night food one day and it started August, which means everybody clears out, so you can't find anything anymore.
Yeah.
And we couldn't find anything. Everything's, we're not going to fucking pizza. And then even the normal like chain restaurants are like closing down. I'm like, fuck, we're not going to be able to find anything. The West African population in Paris is so big. And we had some of the most delicious, spiciest, like I'm going like this, sweating like that. It's West African food. And there's this big contingency there. And I think in the 10th there in Decimon or something. And it's like, it's a subculture where you don't think of Parisian.
Yes.
But they've got some of the best West African food in the world.
It's the best feeling.
Yeah. And you're like, oh, yeah, like that would be a subculture of Chinese that you're not thinking of Chinese.
And by the way, goat on a spit is fucking awesome.
Wow.
Just for the record. Charred goat on a spit. If you're
Wow.
not vegetarian. Anyway,
Ugh, lame.
we could go on and on.
Des, you got a podcast, right? I'll say something. I'll drop a fucking thing in the
Oh, yeah.
middle
Well,
of it, but-
Burn a Phone podcast. But the big thing I'd love to promote is my special on YouTube, which you graciously posted about, called Des Bishop of All People.
Des Bishop of all people, yeah.
And by the way, since we're at it, the series about my time in China is on YouTube, Breaking China. Des Bishop Breaking China.
Okay.
Unfortunately, very recently, episode 6 got fucking muted.
What? Why? For censorship?
Because of the dating show, actually. The dating show. I guess some of the
What is it
Chinese. The Des Bishop Breaking China.
Yeah. Oh, wow. It's a whole series.
But episode 6, unfortunately, is muted. And my hair is dyed. I
Who
apologize.
the fuck is that?
It's me with
That's
dyed.
you?
That's dyed hair, baby. So the funny thing about my dyed hair is I wanted to fucking get rid of it because I hated
That's
it.
you?
Yeah, I
Wow.
that's not the color of hair I had when I met you. You just don't remember how I looked.
No.
Oh no, actually, I'd already shaved it because we finished filming. My director didn't let me get rid of my dyed hair for the whole year because he was like, "We'll probably move shit around. I can't have you gray some episodes and not gray."
Wow.
So yeah, the specials they did all right.
That's
But
345,000 views. That's
yeah,
great.
I would have liked a bit more, but
what
I
are you
didn't.
gonna do?
I put it up and then I tore my ACL, so my promotion got a little stunted by my accident.
It was recorded at the cellar? That's crazy.
Yeah, I recorded, and that's my crappy like Canva picture. I actually opened with a Chinese crowd work bit.
Are you guys Chinese? Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm speaking Mandarin there. My special opens in Mandarin, actually, coincidentally enough.
Wow.
But that's my usual, just like
Have you seen Warrior?
Oh, the Japanese thing.
Uh-huh.
I thought it was amazing.
Chinese, yeah.
What Chinese?
Chinese immigrants to San Francisco mixing with the Irish immigrants who
I
run,
need to
who
see
run
that.
it. Yeah, but they do this thing where it's like they're speaking Mandarin, and then it like half a sentence just becomes English.
But they're still speaking Mandarin.
Yeah, so it's like you're going like, hey, so they're speaking in Mandarin now, but I want you to understand this.
Okay. I need to watch that.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
No, I saw Shogun, actually.
Shogun, is that good?
I loved it, but some people didn't. I loved it.
The old or is it new?
No, it just came out. FX.
Shogun, that's what I got to see. I think I looked
It's
up
Japanese, but it's
I think I
fucking
looked
awesome.
up Warrior thinking it was Shogun, and I'm like, this is kind of lame.
I watch all the fucking like 50,000 episode Chinese things. They're always the same. Some Chinese feudal drama. It's the same story every time, but
Great.
I get sucked in
Great. Yeah.
every time.
All right. Well, Des Bishop, go watch the special. Go see this fucking Breaking China.
Yeah, it's a fun watch. Everyone that actually, it doesn't have a lot
YouTube
of
on
views,
Des
but like
Bishop.
everybody that watches is like, "Fuck, this is good." But I'm like, it was a real TV show. It's not like it was made for
Bishop Breaking
television.
China. There it is in your playlist.
Yeah, but unfortunately, it's fucking episode 6 is muted. I don't know what to do because a big scene in it is the dating show, but it's flagging now as like I don't have the rights, which is correct.
Yeah, you got to re-edit it and take it out and put it back up.
Yeah, that's
That
fine.
sucks.
It is
Yeah,
what it
whatever.
is. Not a big deal. People can find it somewhere.
Yeah.
Thanks,
All right,
Ari.
buddy. Yeah,
Great
thank
to be
you.
here.
Yeah, God, it fucking took me back. China fucking ruled. Well, everybody, that's the episode. Hope you had a good time. That was fun. Thank you, Des Bishop, for coming in. Make sure to check out his special Mind Fill, available right now on YouTube. Check out his podcast, the Des Bishop Podcast. Today's episode has been produced by Your Mom's House Network, the #1 network for comedy on the internet. Just all around great guys. It's edited by Alan Caffey. Chris Larson helped. Liana Paletta helped. I know that's not how you say it. And that's it, guys. Subscribe wherever you're watching. Get one of these shirts. Get a Shroomfest shirt. Get some merch. Help support the podcast. Subscribe. What are you doing right now? Hit subscribe. That's it. That's the episode. Next week, the Trippy Award winner for Best Guest, Best Most Surprising, and Best Trip, Harlan Williams, a 2024 #1 Trippy Award winner, makes his triumphant return to talk about a magical trip to Africa. 3 different countries in Africa. Whoa. Sorry, that is technical difficulties. Listen, guys, I'm doing my best here. I'm doing my best. I'm not in a studio. Yeah, I have help from Your Mom's House, but I'm not in a studio, so I'm just doing the best I can. I'm DIY to the core. Remember the podcast started DIY and they went to quickly like OIY? Wait, no. Do it yourself. Do it. Someone else do it. Guys, there's something there. Help me out in the comments of what I should call the opposite of DIY. The point is, though, doing the best I can. And this still has that independent feel that you rarely get from other podcasts that are in studios all the time and are really just kind of like another version of selling out. I'm Ari Shaffir. I'm the last person alive who's not sold out. Literally, there's hundreds of comics who have not sold out. Some of them are quite wealthy. They just haven't gone against their morals in order to get that way. I haven't gone against my morals, and it means I'm still an apartment renter. They haven't gone against our morals, and they're fucking stockpiling millions. It's crazy. It's crazy how I've lived kind of incorrectly for a long time. But I'm happy with it. Until next week, everybody. With Harlan Williams. I'll see you then. Bye.